We're here. Welcome to the Happy Jacks RPG Network. I'm Chris.
I'm Eli.
I'm Pooja.
I'm Rose.
I'm Nick.
Thank you for joining us. And this is our inaugural.
This is our
One-shot.
inaugural showcasing of the One-Shot Saturdays.
Back together
That's
again
awesome.
for the first time.
And this is the first time I've run a game in well, it's not a new studio anymore, but to me it's new. So this is really awesome in here. Today, we are going to play D&D without the D&D. We're using Dungeoncaster to run the OG Temple of Elemental Evil campaign. OG means old guy.
Uh,
Yeah.
Correct.
The
yes.
old guy,
In this circumstance, yes.
I mean,
Original gamer?
original gaming, Temple of Evil, and it's actually torn from the pages, folks. So you will see some classic stuff here. And we're using Dungeoncaster, which is my promotional effort here to wave a book
Now,
at the
what
camera.
is Dungeoncaster?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Rose. It's a game for fantasy. Well, we're going to play it, so you'll see. Now, let's go around the table because we've already picked our characters. Eli, what are you playing?
I'm playing, I guess, a dwarf fighter.
You don't sound very certain about that.
I'm playing a dwarf fighter.
It's better.
What's their name?
Yeah.
Come back to me, please.
Something unbelievably Scottish, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
We lean into all the tropes here at Happy Jacks. What else do we have at the table?
I am playing I'm assuming a human ranger, and her name is Banasri. Banasri.
Ah, perfect. What do we have with Rose? You're playing a cleric, right?
Yep, I'm playing a halfling cleric named Sarah Hollythorn. She is a cleric of the Raven Queen.
Fun.
Oh, okay. So really nice and sweet.
Actually, yes. What she does for work and what her personality is like, completely different.
Fair.
I am playing an elf mage who goes by McFadden. That's
Took
not his
name.
real name, because names have power, but that's the name you can call him, is McFadden.
McFaddy?
Fadden.
Oh, Batten. That makes perfect sense. It's like, all right.
No, I'm trying it a little bit more seriously than that.
We have, all right, well, we have an eclectic group of adventurers, and we're just going to jump right in. I mean, there's no introduction here. We're just going to start in media res, as you are all taking cover underneath stone pews of a temple. It's a decrepit, ruined old temple. And there is a sea of fire just bellowing over the top of your head. And that is coming from some culty looking like guy who is wearing black robes and has just unleashed hell. And behind him is a staircase going down into the darkness where a whole bunch of these other black robed figures are running up with alarm. So I have a couple questions I want to ask you all about this.
Oh, my character's name is Mads. Because that's the first one that came to my mind.
All right.
I like it.
You all picked M names, and now I'm feeling out of place.
I mean, my name starts with a B, so.
Oh, I cannot hear, apparently.
Me neither. I think I spelled it way super wrong.
I am sure I spelled it wrong.
Oh, it's right here in front of me. Sorry, guys. Oh, that was close.
How's it spelled?
Banasri.
Okay, we have a situation as you are all huddled underneath this fire. The person who cast this fireball also has a pet raven, which is almost half his size, swooping in and landing on his shoulder. That raven leaps off of his shoulder and comes at somebody who has to now defend themselves from the raven. Who is it that gets attacked by the raven?
I'll be attacked.
All right.
Rose raised her hand first.
I didn't do the nose goes first, though.
Okay, so it is Rose. The well, I should say Sarah.
Mhm.
So Sarah is suddenly attacked by this giant raven. This flashback in this moment as we get a
Mhm.
freeze frame of Sarah dealing with talons. So she is walking through a thorny, weedy, desolate hill outside of the village Nolb, which I think I'm pronouncing correctly. It is with a Midwest accent, so there's probably some sort of flair you need to put on the L in there. But that village is home to a bunch of swashbuckling pirates. Well, Sarah's friends with one, or apparently walking with one, and that pirate points up to the hills and says, whatever you do not go up there. None of our crew goes up there. Do not go up there. Everything is happening because of that place. So that happens to Sarah. I have another question. Who fails to overcome the one person that just threw this fireball into the room?
Ooh, I'll take a fireball to the face.
Okay, you got the fireball to the face. So you're on fire. And there is this wizard who's probably your match, or maybe even, I don't know, better than you. How long have you been doing this anyway?
Hundreds of years.
Okay, so he's been doing it for longer than that.
Right. Okay.
And so we're going to do a flashback for you. You're in Hamlet. This is a city that is, well, it's a city. It's a village. They call it a city. Not too far away. And you are in this really rabidly violent tavern. And there's this calamity happening behind you. And you are perfectly poised, sitting at a table with another wizard. And you're quietly talking to each other, somehow able to communicate with this noise around you. And he says to you, years ago, the temple of elemental evil rose in these lands and obliterated our entire society. It was only because we were saved by an army from the north that they didn't destroy us entirely. The Luna crushed them. But they didn't truly. Remnants remain. And there's a new evil there. You must find whatever adventurers you can find, the best that you can find, to put down this evil before it destroys us all. So I'd like to take a moment and observe that this party is his fault.
In fairness, I am paying for it with a fireball to the face. So
Seems fair.
Yeah.
Super fair.
Okay, so who tumbles into the altar trying to get away and breaks a bunch of pillars doing so?
I want to see that.
Is that you?
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay. You are walking outside of a
Parkour.
guild house.
Yes, exactly.
There's a freeze frame as the pillars tumbling on top of you. And we have your memory now as you're walking in Hamlet, outside of a guild hall. You have in one hand a golden skull that has these jewel rivets in there. There are no jewels in it, but there are rivets for jewels. And that's in one hand. In the other hand is a big bag of gold. And there's probably a smile on your face. But you've been given instructions from this benefactor that you have got to go to the Temple of Elemental Evil. Find the elemental jewels. Put them in this skull and destroy it. If you don't, everything's fucked.
So, just another Wednesday. Okay.
But yeah, it is. So, I guess there's just one person left.
Yeah.
You are the one that rallies everybody to overcome this attack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, first of all, how do you do that?
My character, Mads, is there due to a bet with McFadden. I feel like they've known each other for maybe 100 years.
That sounds right.
Yeah. And a little help on the bet. But I think that there may be a long lineage of dwarves that Mads come from that are the leaders, I guess. But Mads is not necessarily like that. Like, he wants to be the adventurer. So I think like he has a little bit of that leadership in himself, but he really doesn't know it. But now it's him coming into his own. So he's gonna stand up. Well, he is standing up on a rock to be everybody else's height after the fire goes. Guys, this is what we signed up for to help McFadden. It's not always going to be easy, and it's probably going to be hard, but this is what we're here to do. And then he turns around and faces the wizard.
Okay, this is the final clash. We have a memory of yours. You had a bad dream last night,
Okay.
and in that classic sort of as you're rolling on your back, sleeping on the ground, you are descending a deep staircase, and there is this large iron double door ahead of you. And this little old man comes hobbling up to the door with a cane. And then he knocks 3 times on the door. The door opens. And you don't know what happens, but you do know that the worst thing that has ever existed on this plane was just let out. And this is what you're up against.
I felt like his face is definitely a no-sell. Like, he's like, he knows that stuff is going to get bad, but this is what heroes do.
That's what heroes do. All right. Cool. So that the group managed to dispatch this group of cultists in this temple. Why don't we go around and see what that looks like? What happens with this threat? We have all of these cultists coming up from the stairs. The stairs are where you're heading. There are ruins around you. Things are a little bit on fire still. You were confronting this wizard.
Mm-hmm.
What happens?
I think Mads tried to hit the raven as it went by, but it was flying too high. So, and then I think that through the years of knowing McFadden, he knows that wizards sometimes need like components to be able to do their spells. And I think one of the things he does is throws his axe to remove the components from his hands, which is also removing the hands from his forearms.
So
As
what
a
you're
side
saying is
effect.
you're disarming the wizard.
Yes. Yes. So yeah, so I don't know if anybody else wants to take the killing blow, but that's how the melee
Well,
starts.
yeah, he's spraying around.
Yeah.
Screaming. Well, how do you handle the raven?
Oh, I have that.
Oh, you
Yeah.
have the raven. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I look at it and I go, I'm pretty sure this is blasphemy. And then my eyes go black. And I'm going to cast Speak with Animals and basically explain to the Raven that, first of all, you are a holy animal of my religion and that I can't harm you. And also you're working with cultists, which is, it's just not cool. And really what you should be doing is, I was about to say a thing that I'm pretty sure is on our Lines and Veil sheet, but go deal with those cultists for me and send them that way. And that's how we're dealing with the Raven.
All right, so the raven turns on the cultists, and many of them flee, but we have a couple other people that have to do some final blows here. What happens?
I think as I see the pillar come down and I have, tripped, fallen, but I see it coming and I manage to from my place on the ground, it's flip onto my side and kick out, finding just the correct spot on the pillar to change its trajectory. So instead of falling on me, it falls away from me and, onto my enemies.
And that is something you had planned the entire time. That was part of the calculus.
Yes.
Yeah. So rubble is falling on top of the cultists as they're running up the stairs. What do you do?
The last couple and the ones that are fleeing, I'm going to conjure an intense fear and infect their minds with this fear that if they don't leave and get as far away from this temple as they can, that their lives will be short, miserable, terrifying, and painful. And it's going to inspire them to create an artist commune rather than the horrible evil that they had previously dedicated themselves to.
Yeah, yeah. They need to dismantle the hierarchy of their structure, allow freedom to emerge.
Right.
Yeah.
They just want to put a little bit of good and beauty back in the world
Right.
after the terror that they've done so far.
So we have a hard cut and then, a painting.
Yeah.
The Temple of Elemental Beat Poets.
You know, it's a like former cultist. Thank you very much. Happy little tree.
Well, okay, so that is the last time you have narrative control without paying for it. We're going into the temple. The steps descend into darkness. The air gets heavier. Those of you that can see in the dark can see. Those of you that can't, it's starting to get a little hard to see. You end up in a dusty, cobweb-covered corridor that stretches side to side almost indefinitely. The dark vision folks can see that it does end, but very far away. And there's really nothing else in here. You have a couple of choices, though. You can go immediately to the right where another hallway goes deeper into the dungeon. Or you can keep going to the end of this corridor where there's another hallway at the end. There are these mosaics on both sides of the walls in this huge corridor that are just painted travesties. Human sacrifices, raising from the dead, beheadings, everything you can think of, you name it. I mean, the content is just abhorrent. And it's not just that. It's not even really done that well. Like, they're not very talented. It's a small pool of people probably to draw from, or maybe the Knolls are doing it. I don't know. But it's not nice to look at in any way. So that's where you are.
You know, I think I saw a better illustration of human sacrifice actually in the what was that? The Tomb of Horrors? Tomb of Horrors, much better design style.
Artistry was there, you're
Mhm.
saying.
They had vision.
Yeah.
These guys, they're just
They're phoning it in.
I mean, I feel like maybe
Amateur
they're
hour.
trying because it's like we got to compete with the tomb as like maybe like a visitors thing to get more people to come die here. And it's like our thing is really elements and not really horrors. So it's kind of like, yeah, we just throw up the general.
We can have a bunch of people who are being killed by the elements.
Yeah. You would think
This guy's
that's
being
on
buried
brand.
in stones, and this guy is,
Burning?
being plied with hot pokers. And
Somebody's drowning.
I mean, obviously, whoever.
I mean,
did
you could
this.
do that anywhere. Water is everywhere. You can go drown in a lake.
wind. How are we going to do wind? It's really fast. It's flaying his skin off.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have tried harder, is all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not judging. I'm just saying that, or maybe their pool of talent was small.
Okay,
I'm
now
saying,
hear me
like,
out,
this
guys.
bodes
Hear me
ill
out,
for
guys.
Your artist commune.
Well, it doesn't
Dungeon
bode well.
flippers. Dungeon flippers. We take a dungeon, we take a temple of elemental evil, and we flip it. We take out these walls. They don't need to be here. We just want a nice open floor plan dungeon.
Just be aware that I'm pretty sure that column is structural.
Are
So
you sure though?
I mean, we'll need to get the dungeon engineer in here to double check, but
The Dungeon Brothers.
Or maybe the dungeon master.
Oh,
We're going to have to get an
We
inspector
all
in
take
here.
take a D6 meta damage.
yeah, you're going to take some harm for that one. We are, okay, so here we are. We're in this corridor. What do you want to do? You can go to the end of the corridor. I mean, obviously, there's the walls, there's the near tunnel, and there's the far tunnel. So those are your two choices to go in. And if you look harder, you might be able to find other options in there, but that's what you see when you land at the bottom of the stairs.
So can I use creation to create light and create a glowing orb on the top of my staff so that our friends who can't see in the dark can also see down here?
Yeah, you don't even need to spend for that. That's just the sort of thing you can do.
Okay.
You can Gandalf your way through.
Great.
And that kind of makes it worse, though. I mean, now it's, well, what color is the ambient light?
It's blue, so
Yeah.
everything is sort of,
So suddenly the art looks like actually kind of scary, and the shadows are extremely sharp, and you swear they may be moved, but you can see. Do you want to see?
of course, knowledge is key.
That's like your opinion.
What do our paths look like? Are we hearing anything now that we've gotten past the cultists kind of up at the top of the stairs? Like, did any of them run down here? Anything like that?
Yeah, from what you can tell, everybody that was involved in that fight are upstairs, and you can see the evidence of their tracks in the dirt down here. But it's completely quiet. It's a little too quiet, and it looks like this is not an area that's traversed very often. So you'll probably, if you want to see more information, you'll need to do some investigating, or you can just blindly walk in.
I say we blindly walk in.
Nice.
By all means, Mads.
So Mads, full of his pre-speech to the fight, goes walking in. Probably he's just outside of. Well, how big is the cone of light? I guess.
Probably goes about 30 feet ahead.
All right.
Basically a light cantrip.
Mm-hmm. All right. So then he's probably about 30 feet ahead.
Yeah.
So he can see farther out.
So you get to the edge of the darkness,
Mm-hmm.
and you see more hallway. You can also just go right into it looks like in a corridor that goes on to infinity. It just goes and goes and goes and goes.
He looks
Or you can keep going ahead.
kind of like in like hospitals, how they have like the different lines of where you need to go. He looks kind of to see if there's anything like that. Probably not, but he's just hoping it'd be easy that way.
You want to investigate the walls.
Yeah, I think one of the things he would actually be looking for is anything that reminds him of the nightmare, and something that kind of indicates where that thing may have come out, because just wasn't the two doors we just came through, right?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was and those were toppled and broken ruins anyway. All right, so this is going to be our first roll. We're going to check out. There is a threat on the table because there's something about these walls you don't know. So what you're trying to do is a will roll. But there might be some sort of talents or something that can help. Also, you all can assist if you want by just giving him your will die. If you do that, that means you can't use that die on this threat, but he gets a bit of a benny. So you pulled in your will die. Do you have any talents that apply? Probably not for a fighter.
Yeah, I don't think.
You're not being very tenacious.
Right, I don't think I'm.
All right, so I think it's just a straight die. You can spend. No, really not any disciplines that apply either. So it's
No.
just a straight die. So roll that and then add it to your d20.
I need. Oh yeah, d20. Oh god, d20s aren't my friends. folks. That is a 5.
Okay, awesome.
Oh.
That's perfect.
Oh.
I'm super
You need
good.
to get a 10 or higher. I don't know if I told you that.
You did. And I aim to please.
Nice.
He just wants to demonstrate the mechanics. If you
Okay.
fail, it's no fun if we succeed all of our rolls.
I agree. It is no fun if you succeed. So, all right, so you're looking at the walls, looking for any sort of sign of anything, particularly the doors you saw in your dream.
Mhm.
And you do see ones kind of sketched out on the wall, and behind the door's kind of opening in the fresco,
Mhm.
and behind that you see just this sort of cascade of fungus and mushrooms
Mhm.
pouring out. And it looks like it's actually pouring out now. Is it moving? And now there is some fungus growing on your hands and fingers, and the others see fungus growing on his face, and he's suddenly becoming infested with flesh-eating fungus. It doesn't feel good.
Oh,
It
yeah.
feels like a really bad sunburn, and somebody smacked it. And so you're in a tremendous amount of pain.
Yeah, there's definitely like,
How does that make you feel?
not good.
Are you scared?
I think he is afraid and shamed.
You want to take 2 harm for this?
I feel like he's probably more shamed because I could see a flashback with Sarah and McFadden telling him like, whatever you do, don't touch nothing. And the first thing he does is like, hey, let's check out these walls, and then he starts touching it, and then that's what happens.
All right, yeah, take a harm to charisma.
I'd like to go ahead and shatter the wall, please.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah,
With your
okay.
fist?
There's obviously evil frescoes going on. No, I have a mace. I have a mace
Oh,
and
okay.
and the will to use it.
All right.
All
right. Cool. So you're gonna attack the wall.
Yeah, I'm basically like, well, I could use a spell to try and figure this out, but Sarah's not like she was brought in on faith, not on being well read. And so she's like, oh, wall is obviously doing some evil magic. Let's go ahead and break it and see if that fixes things.
All right. So you're addressing the situation with force.
Mm-hmm.
Grab
And
your
so I
force
have a
die.
D6 in force, and then I've got a mace, which I believe would the wall count as something that would be heavily armored?
Confronting a threat with heavy armor.
Like it's the tool for the job.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're not
Okay.
going to hit it with a sword, you know.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not.
So
Okay.
yeah.
And
All
then would my understanding of the divine be helpful in solving this problem?
No, it's not coming from divinity.
Okay. Evil divinity. Okay. Cool. And then sweet. So 2d6. And then I'll add that to my d20 roll. So I rolled 2 5s. So I take a thread. Wait, no, wrong system. Okay, so a 5 plus.
Oh, I should warn you too. Not warn, but hell, if you want, you can spend your inspiration. You have one, even though you don't have a physical one. You have an inspiration coin. You can spend that, add a d6 to your pool if you want. You can also
That's all right.
spend
I
it.
got a 13.
Okay, that's all you need. Okay, so the fresco crumbles under your. Again, it's bad artistry. I mean, they probably
Doing
didn't
the
let
wall
it
a favor.
dry.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it just
Oh, I
crumbles.
forgot to
under
mention.
it.
Sarah is 3.5 feet tall, so she is like jumping to just smash the wall, like overhanding.
The fresco is smashed, and so is the wall that the fresco is on. And it tumbles behind what was apparently a back room that had been drywalled over in a way. And again, they're not artists. And so it just completely crumbles. And behind that wall is something that has been in there a very, very long time. This thing is extremely hungry and is ravenously charging you. It's one of those things where it's like, what is that? And after a while, you realize it's probably a gnoll. It looks like a hyena, but it's starving, so it looks way monstrous. And it is clawing its way out because it smells beef or something good. And we have a new threat on the table. Good job knocking down that wall. Congratulations.
I'm going to assume that anything walled up in the Temple of Elemental Evil
It must be good if they're right. If they've locked it up in the evil temple, then it's a good thing.
exactly. So I'm gonna throw it some of my rations.
Okay. Oh, interesting. All right. I love this.
You laugh as if I was joking.
Yeah. Here's some rations. You're hungry, right? Here's a Snickers bar. This is a hangry gnoll.
It's like,
All right.
You're not you when you're hungry.
You're no longer yourself when you're hungry.
Oh,
Boo.
Yeah, this sounds actually like a charisma roll.
Okay. Unfortunate. But also,
I'd like to help with that if I can.
Oh, sure. How are you going to help?
Um, Sarah obviously Sarah is almost painfully typical halfling, so her bag is just full of food.
Right, right. Pies. Right.
Yeah, so it's just she oh, meat pie, sure, just it's a null, probably likes protein, just discus throwing pies.
Okay, so you can use Era's charisma die, which I'm assuming is a D8.
Yep.
Yeah. So you get a D8 in your pool. That means you can't use charisma when confronting this again, but
That'll
that's
be fine.
okay.
so then
If this fails, I still have my mice.
is that with my D4 instead of my D4?
Yeah, with your D4.
Okay.
And
Um,
is there anything else you can ranger?
I mean, I have professional. I know a great deal about a religion, a history, and people.
I think there's an argument for that. Or about a balance in nature and society. I mean, either one of those. You're a ranger, so you know that it's hungry, and that's basically how you're resolving the situation. So yeah, you can add a D6 for that.
This is like the old Marvel comics where why steal money, Dr. Octopus, when you can have Hostess fruit pies?
Again, okay, so that is 9 plus 9 is 18, plus a 7 is 25, plus...
Well, you take the highest of your
One.
pool and then add it.
Okay, great. So a 9 plus 9 is 18.
Okay. Well, that's great. That's a good roll. So it's still less than a 20. And what happens between 11 and 19 is that something else happens.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's not a 9. I'm not smart. It's a 16.
Same result. The null loves the rations so much, eats all of them, loves the meat pie so much, grabs your bag and eats everything that's in there, and is looking up after that's all done. It's eaten all of your food.
I feel like Maz is in the background, itching and being like, ah! So I think, along with his shame, he's kind of preoccupied by what is actually happening until probably combat starts.
Yeah, are you talking about, the fungus is itching.
Yeah.
Still. It's subsiding because.
Yeah, but I still feel he's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the null is satiated. I mean, this would you successfully rolled. So, but it eats all of your food. And I don't know exactly how hyenas show, their gratitude, but it kind of does like a head nub on you, and then just goes galloping off into the darkness, the direction you were heading.
Nature's healing.
So it's fine. You survived. Good job.
Sweet.
Should we head the direction that our
Has anybody got a cream or
lately
anything?
friend?
Or, still kind of... No? All right.
Don't-
Oh,
It's
yeah, I got a thing.
All right, cool. Thank you.
How do rests work, by the way?
Oh, well, it's just like in the other game that shall not be named. Take a moment.
It's not
take a
Voldemort.
rest.
It's okay.
Yeah.
We can reference it.
But yeah, you have
Uh,
to spend a few minutes not doing anything, and there's a risk that maybe something's gonna find you if you do.
Oh, that's fine. If I can, I'm just gonna cast a D4 heal on him.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. That would actually fix your harm,
Sweet.
but it could go wrong. So
Not sweet.
Yeah, you want me to?
yeah, so you have to roll it. Yeah.
Okay. I feel like I'm gonna say this a lot. Would my understanding of the divine help?
Yes. In this case, it would, because you're conjuring the divine to heal.
Okay. Oh, and that's a.
I mean, it's really
so
designed for
that's a D8.
there's a puzzle or something you have to kind of work through, but
Okay.
I'll take it.
So, D4 discipline, D6 talent, D8 ability.
Yeah,
Does
that should
sound right?
work.
Okay.
That should be a good roll.
Okay. Yeah, that's a 5 is my highest, and that's a 10 exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, that's all you need.
Or sorry, 11, because 6 plus 5. I can do math.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. I couldn't read numbers in my last roll.
So you get your harm back. So you're not you're maybe feeling a little more confident. But there's scarring, and it's really bad scarring. In fact, there's like you have some mushrooms on your face that are probably never going to go away. If you try to cut it off to make like a stroganoff, they'll just grow back.
But they are edible.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Unlimited
It's
food.
kind of like
Jeez, you're
Oh, we have rations again.
Yeah, I know.
kind of
The gnome
gross.
comes back.
It's kind of
It's like,
gross.
A little bit of butter and you're set.
Like, man, I know some this really rich guy. Like, he would pay so much for fixed shrooms.
It
Oh, no,
also
what if
feels
they're
like
psychedelic?
Even better.
I need to add that it feels like there maybe is something more to the fact that you have mushrooms growing on your face. That there's like an odd emptiness in your being. Like maybe there's a connection with something that's pulling out yourself, your energy, in a way. And it's like it's almost like a vampire.
Okay.
So it's not just that you're facing it's part of something larger and supernatural.
But still delicious.
It would make a good stroganoff. It's a little gross, but yeah, you could.
Gross is in the eye of the eater.
I mean, it tastes like button mushrooms probably.
Yeah.
It's savory.
Is this something that I could possibly use like purification or something for? Is this something that's like within, I was about to say my powers, I was like, no, the Raven Queen's powers to heal.
Well, if you would like that to
Gotta
be
stay
true, you can spend your inspiration and I'll allow it.
I will absolutely do that.
All right.
Nice.
Cool.
What that actually will kind of look like is it's going to be like a more involved like ritual and like mixing up like kind of components, not spell components, because like she's not doing math to do magic, but more just like this is how the Raven Queen told us to do this. So it's as and she's like, so the deal is you won't have whatever this thing is on you, but you'll always have the Raven Queen's mark. Do you accept that?
So it's the Raven Queen's mark versus having delicious mushrooms at a moment's notice.
That might be eating your soul.
All right, I'll take the Raven Queen's.
Like it's just a mark.
Should
It
we?
is
should
not
we-
claiming you, but it is marking you as healed by her.
Can we just, we can stockpile some of the mushrooms.
We can have the mushrooms now. Like let's take a few of the mushrooms, and then we'll do this.
Okay.
I mean, I'm just saying that wonderful creature just ate all our food.
That's a good point.
I can if we find something that doesn't look edible, I can make it edible. Like the Raven Queen really looks out for me.
I mean, I'm sold, I guess.
All right.
So you're marked by the Raven Queen.
The skin where all of the mushrooms were is now just like super pale white. But otherwise everything functions normally.
And you have a pouch full of mushrooms.
If it goes through like your beard, that hair is all white now.
Oh, he has a sick like white streak now.
Oh yeah, like a white streak down the beard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Gotta love the rogue effect.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. You now inexplicably have a southern accent. They never talk about that with the Raven Queen. It's part of the deal.
Alabama.
Wow.
All right. Well, that was a good first moment of landing down at the bottom of the stairs.
This can only go well.
You haven't gone anywhere yet. You can, as a reminder, long corridor you're facing goes all the way back. There's also a corridor right in front of you, which will go deeper into the temple or the dungeon or wherever the hell you are. And if you cross this big corridor, there's another way to go into the temple. So you basically can go near or far.
Wherever you are.
So you can see the tracks of the cultists who came up. Where did the majority of those tracks come from?
Yeah. This is something you don't need to roll for because obvious. It's really dirty and dusty in here. They came from the one that's closest to you, so they just came around the bend. They did not. It doesn't look very well traveled if you keep going ahead, which could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you weigh it.
the prints of where the knoll went?
The knoll went straight ahead.
Okay.
He went far.
We're looking for the gems to put in this. Or do we all know that?
Yeah, you've all shared that information. I'm assuming that. Yeah, the objective here is to find the elemental gems and destroy the skull before whatever is going to be let out gets let out.
I'd like to cast locate objects to see if any of the gems are down the infinite corridor.
Okay, all right, cool. Now, there is no threat in play, so this is our first kind of moment where we have to.
Inspiration for that.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
You'll
so
have to
you
deal
have to
with them.
take the threat that I give you, basically.
Ooh, I'll take it.
Okay, let's see. What should we do about this? All right, so I have a threat. I'm not going to tell you what it is, though.
Okay. That's
Secret
fine.
threat.
Okay, I'll tell you what it is. The floor is unstable. So you are trying to find the location of it. What you're actually not, the threat isn't where is the thing. The threat is find the location so that you don't collapse under this floor.
Okay.
So
Right.
you're going to get into the dungeon one way or another.
Yeah, the thing we're trying to figure out is the infinite corridor the path we want to take first, or where all the people went and came from.
Right.
Because it's like, oh, if there's no people going in there, that's probably because it's not safe. But also, none of this place is safe.
Right.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Is it extra murdery or just the normal amount of murdery?
Or extra murdery because of the gems. Right.
Well, and if they haven't already summoned the thing that we're trying to stop from being summoned, that means they don't have all the gems. And if they don't have all the gems, then going to a place where they haven't been is more likely for us to be able to find and destroy them.
Or they had the gems, they just didn't have this guy.
Anywho, yeah.
No,
So
the skull.
would
Don't
my,
show it to them.
would my locate objects spell work, or I suppose I could use locate traps, but I'm just trying to get more information on
Where are the
gems
gems? Yeah, where are the gems? That's
Okay.
locate object for sure.
Okay, cool. So I've got a D4 there from the discipline, and then what do I roll a do I roll an ability die for that?
Yeah, so you will roll will for this.
Ooh, 2d4. Sweet. Okay. All right. So 2d4. I also took lucky, so I get to reroll ones, which I got a 1, which turned into a 4. Sweet. Love to see it. Raven Queen's got my back. That's a nat 1.
Nice.
So, what's at the bottom of the pit with the crumbling floor?
You didn't get a chance to cast because there's some creaking noises and the floor opens up beneath all of you. It's just a tad. You were standing there a tad too long, and so you find yourself falling through. I had to find out what's beneath you. No.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Do we just fall to the end of the dungeon?
No.
Maybe it's the commissary
It
for all
ain't
the bad
good.
guys.
Or we end up back at the entrance somehow. Like we fell down but ended up upstairs.
This isn't Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah.
Like a really janky game of shoots and ladders.
Who designed this dungeon? Asher?
Well, we're skipping this level altogether. I have to skip ahead here.
Never
You're
knew.
welcome.
Elemental evil speed run.
The yeah,
Temple of
that's what I
Elemental
thought it
Evil, any
was.
percent.
Yeah.
That's what I
Boss
thought it was.
assisted.
All right. The good news is
Hilarious.
you fall into water.
Okay.
The bad news is this is clearly consecrated, sacred water in service of some sort of evil something. So
But it's also cursed.
It's the water breaks your fall, and it is well lit in here, so it's kind of shocking to the senses, and it's almost like you're in a swimming pool at first. And the reason it's well lit is because there are all these braziers around the swimming pool that are just erupting with blue fire. The room itself is made out of serpentine, so it's sort of this like sea green gemstone room. And there is an altar above the swimming pool, and there is somebody at the altar who is in the middle of some sort of chant or something. He's like he's a human man wearing blue robes, and he's a little startled seeing you. And then he shouts at in a language you don't hear. Something comes into the water. So that's where you are. The something is big and vast, and even though the room is well lit, you can't see it. But the water's moving with some sort of, like the abyss, sort of like a something's in there, camouflage maybe.
Matt is a
Hi. Oh.
consummate full half full guy. And he thinks, man, this is the way to go. We were just talking about how water wasn't that dangerous. But then he was like, actually, this evil water is cooling off his little rash. All right, go ahead, Pooja.
I am going to spend my inspiration to say that as we fell down through the floors, and like it sounded like we fell through multiple floors with this thing, that on the floor beneath us, we took a bunch of vines with us as we went down.
Oh, fair. Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
Grabbing at vines and they just were breaking
or
off. Or...
they like, yeah, it was like they were growing, like there was, you know, nature attempting to heal itself.
Yeah.
It was growing through, but as we broke through the floor, it like, you know, the mortar cracks and everything, and so there are vines hanging down next to us in the pool.
Okay. Great. Good. That's what that's for. I'll take that. Thank you. You get more of these, by the way, before rolling well. So get 20 plus.
So roll
That's
better.
all you got
We
to do
haven't
is just
witnessed-
roll well. Come on.
Wait a minute.
Witness that.
This
yet.
seems rigged.
Make your prayers to Orange Jesus.
And I would like to use some of those vines
Okay.
to swing out of the pool, Cirque du Soleil style.
Yeah. All right. All right. Cool. Cool. What are you all doing?
Which way are swinging? Because I have something I want to do with the altar.
I mean, I don't need to be close to the altar. I use a bow.
Okay.
I would prefer not to be close to the altar.
Swinging to the shore.
Yes.
Okay.
Or actually, because it's a one shot, so I can be as cool as I really want to be, is that I'm going to use the vine and like do that thing that ribbon dancers do, like when they're doing aerial, and like twirl myself
Oh,
up in it.
cool.
So
Yeah.
my arms are free,
Yeah.
but I'm kind of
Sweet.
like suspended in the air above the pool.
Nick,
Still
have
on the
you
other
looked at
side
the
of the altar.
last spell under earth and water?
Yes, that was exactly what I was looking at.
Okay, I'm climbing out of the water. ASAP. Like, just scramble up the vine.
All right. So you're
Oh,
getting out
I
of the
see
water
what
on
you're thinking.
vine.
I was thinking the other way, but yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah's jumping out of the water.
He is going to put his head under the water, looking for whatever jumped into the water.
Okay. Well, it didn't jump in the water. It came from the water, it seemed like. Something
Oh,
entered
well,
the
he's
water.
looking for
Yeah.
whatever's coming and pulling out his axe.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So you're seeing, and I could just tell you right now what you see. It's almost like the water is taking shape within the water, but it does not look like it is a thing.
Hmm.
Like it's made of the water.
His
Weird.
Maz relays, it's a water thing.
All right. Quick, get out of the water. I'm going to swim for the island in the middle and encourage Mance to do the same.
Yeah, Maz will follow.
Is that force?
Yeah, what are you doing?
Swimming to get on the
You don't need to
shores
roll for
with
that. I didn't describe as something in the middle of the pool.
Right. I thought there was like an altar, like
The
an
altar's
island.
up above it, like
Oh,
sorry,
like
everybody.
pointing.
I'm
like
a big
looking-
gesture.
Ah.
So
I
you
see.
have the pool, and then there's the altar, like a lifeguard stand
I was gonna say,
Gotcha.
over
That's
the
also what I had imagined.
the evil lifeguard stand.
made of stone.
No diving. It's too shallow. No diving.
No, they want you to dive. Yeah, dive.
And there are the cultists in there. He's at that altar looking down and has apparently summoned something because he shouted something, and that's when the water started moving. But you could get out like the other end.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that. I want to swim towards the shore,
Okay.
and encourage Mads to do the same. If we can get out of this water, I have something I can do.
Well, you do all the amazing stuff. I just hit stuff with an axe.
Come this way quickly.
Yeah.
As you're climbing out of the water, the pool itself sort of congeals into a form, and it looks like tentacle kind of thing forming up out of the pool, and then it stretches out, and multiple tendrils come out, and it looks like it's coming in for an attack. But this whole thing is made out of water. You're not seeing a creature.
Okay.
What do you do?
Well,
I'm gonna.
well, this is what I wanted to do here.
Okay.
I'm going to change water to earth.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to transmute this thing from being water into being inanimate earth instead.
It should go swimmingly.
So I believe that is will,
I think that's Will. Yeah.
and then it's another D8 for this
For the
spell.
discipline. Yeah, that's a big spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't see that anything else here would be particularly applicable.
Would having a big brain be applicable? It's a big brain play.
Yeah, that's where I was like,
Yeah,
gotta
no,
do
I
fix
think
knowledge
that's
of
it.
magic, but
Yeah, I think that's it. So roll that pool, pick the highest, and add it to your d20.
6 and 6 is 12.
You take the highest of that, so you got a 6. Oh, did you
Yeah,
get 6 on
no,
the
I
20?
rolled everything together.
Oh, okay.
6 on the D20, 6 on my D8.
Got it. Okay, well, the pool suddenly turns into what? What is it? Dirt or stone?
Turns into, yeah, stone is good. Let's turn it into stone.
Okay,
Like marble for the renovations.
Yeah.
Yes.
like a nice white
You know what
marble
though?
with-
I don't know that marble is in their budget. It's gonna have to be quartz.
But it's free.
So marble.
Well, how much does McFadden charge? Like the parts might be free, but the labor is through the roof.
Right.
Yeah, right. Well, it's the intelligence. You know, you spend it. You spend $1,000, but it's because you knew how to do it. But
Right.
Even though it took you 30 seconds.
Yeah.
The pool turns into marble, but this water creature is still water, which makes you realize that's not water, but it's trapped in this marble, and so it's sort of thrashing around, spraying. It kind of feels like sea spray as it's trying to figure out how to handle this situation, and it lashes out. And let's see it. How do I want to change this? This is when we get into like the PBTA stuff, and the GM's like, "What do I do?" I know what to do. So as it's doing that, the cultist just slams his arm onto the altar, and a tidal wave emerges behind him. You are all being carried away. Fortunately, it's not a large room, so that means you're being bashed against the walls behind you. That is what we call an escalation.
All right.
I'm gonna.
However,
use,
this thing's trapped. It can't get you.
I'm gonna use this opportunity of swinging at my vines.
Yeah, you're on vines, so you were just kind of like,
It's really an amazing show. Let's be real. I should be charging more. Especially as I take my bow out to shoot the cultist.
okay, all right.
Oh,
Well, that's
please
so
tell me
cool.
there's
So you're
an
sort of like-
inverted shot where you're like upside down and like
Yeah, it's
It's
very
got a
much
visual
like
of
I've
that.
got my legs wrapped in the vines in this like perfect like lunge, but upside down in the air.
Somebody needs to draw this.
And I take my bow out to shoot this cultist.
I mean, what did he do to you?
Me. Look at
No, he's just waving at us.
look at this tidal wave where there should never be a tidal wave. Although I must say,
We
the
just
sea
fell
spray,
into the wave pool.
the sea spray is very refreshing. So
The raging waters of elemental evil.
I was more up for the lazy river of elemental evil.
Yeah, that's more my speed.
Let's go with this. So that's I'm gonna use hunt.
Yeah, that counts.
Uh,
It's a stretch, but I'll allow it.
and I'm using my bow, so that's a plus d6. I'm using force, so that's a d6. And
If
then,
you're using hunt, you're spending it.
yes, I'm using I've marked off the d8.
Okay, cool. Oh, you're using D8. You're going all in.
Well, yes.
This is the stolen used car approach. Yeah.
Okay. So that is a 16 on my d20 plus a 6 on that d8.
Nice. That's our first crit.
So that is it.
So
That's
this was
22. I
not
really-
to get technical, but this was a one-stage threat, which means this threat, the caster, is resolved. If it was a two-stage, it would be resolved, but then you would have something coming, something else you'd have to resolve. But it was a one-stage, so you get to tell me what happens to the caster. Here's your
And I get 2 inspiration.
because of your
Because I am
thing.
driven.
You are driven.
These coins are so cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry
I love
to
it.
everyone who is going to be listening to this later and can't see how absolutely awesome all of these are.
I expect mine in the mail soon.
Yeah, but they can't hear it.
You should send me one.
Here come the angry emails.
Don't throw it. Wow. So what happens to this elemental cultist?
I think that as hanging upside down, loose this arrow, you follow it as it flies through the air. You've got arrow cam, and it pierces
Raimi Cam.
the throat of the cultist.
Ooh.
And as like what you would think would be like red, normal, mortal blood coming out of it, but instead of that, it is a wave of green.
Mm.
And as this green sap covers the cultist, like from his throat down, somehow going up, whatever, don't think about it too hard. The cultist, like what is left behind the sap is bark. And now we have a cult tree.
Perfect.
Damn.
We are cultivating nature here.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
There
Gotta
we
give
go.
back.
There it was.
Took me a bit.
Yes. And this is why you give power to your players. They come up with shit better than you can. Awesome. So that doesn't solve the problem with this weird water, some sort of weird water or something going on in the pool, thrashing about. Now it's trapped in that pool, but it is wrangling free. And if you don't do something about it, it's going to get free and take some revenge, probably. It looks angry.
I'm gonna hit it with my axe.
Let's see if that's what the plan was.
Oh, I love fighters.
You know, use that.
Well, that's what axes are for.
Sure are. I'm gonna use my 8. Why not? I'm a fighter, and I understand the battle strategies needed is hit axe.
Are you using battle strategy here, though?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the strategy?
The strategy is hit with axe.
It's a tactic, but okay. It's fine. Go ahead.
Well, strategy would be to win by hitting with axe. And then he's a soldier, so I'm trained in military combat. I'm using the overhand strike.
Yeah,
from
do the
second
overhand to
page.
get your d6 there. Yep. Right. The game wants you to hit with an axe.
Man, I'm really good at not rolling over 20. I got 19.
Oh man,
Yeah.
so close.
Yeah.
Ah,
Let's see who is around. Oh, I know who's around.
So unfortunate, textured.
Okay, so the axe cleaves the water, which is sort of like spraying as it goes, and then it hits this node, which is like this sort of this hard crystalline center. You found the source, and it just shatters. But it shatters with a magnificent boom. It's sort of, and the water goes everywhere. You're all just dripping, soaking wet. And then there's the sound of an alarm horn coming from ahead, deeper into the dungeon. As the pitter patter of a bunch of feet are heading your way. I'll give a moment to describe where you're at. This is a room that is largely devoted to this pool. So,
What pool?
what pool? So if you were to climb the stairs out of the basin here, you're going to have a curtain, which leads to where the pitter patter of the friendly soldier feet are coming from. There's also these side rooms, which are probably like changing rooms, maybe for when this was a pool before it got commandeered by cultists. But those are obviously like changing rooms, so they're not going to get you out. There's really one way out, and I'm not lying. I'm looking at the map. This is where you fell. So this is actually, wait, whose fault was this?
Hi.
That was Rose's fault. I just want to make
That
sure
was
we're
Sarah's
casting.
fault.
Oh, right.
I
Sorry.
don't think
just wanna
it's
make sure we're
anybody's
casting
fault.
blame.
I think it's just a part of, learning about the ambiance of the.
No,
place
we're playing D&D without the D&D. Somebody is to blame. So
I
we
don't
just want to
think
make
so.
sure we
I
call
think
that
that's
out.
the problem with D&D.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think when you play D&D without the D&D, the nice thing is that you get to punt the blame.
No,
Yeah.
Nobody's fault. It's just trapped in this room with a bunch of guards coming.
Mhm.
I better write down them all because I can keep track.
Yep.
What would you like
There's
to do?
Steve the guard and Dave the guard. and I have a solution for the guard problem. The only way out is where the guards are coming.
Yes. Sadly.
Okay. Sarah's gonna like climb down the vine she was on, shake the water out of her hair, and kind of go up and just shink, pull open the curtain, and then just like step through, close the curtain behind her, and then you just see this like blinding light. And I'm gonna roll fear with a D8.
Oh man.
Oh.
All right.
Yeah. So this is gonna be let's see, it's gonna be like it starts out as a white light and then it starts to like black shouldn't be able to show light. That's things absorbing light, but that keeps happening. And you just hear like the sound of wings just fill the room.
Ooh.
And like that's what the party gets to see. What the people inside get to see is this 3.5 foot halfling come through a curtain, and then her eyes go black, and then she spreads her arms out straight to the sides, and this black raven just kind of grows behind her until it fills like literally all of their peripheral vision as well. And just the sound of wings and the cawing of ravens just kind of deafens everybody. So that's going to be, I think that's a charisma.
Sounds like it.
Okay,
Yeah.
charisma,
Definitely.
wrath at a D8,
Yeah.
and can my understanding of the divine help put the fear of God in these people?
Yes.
Sweet. All right, I'm just gonna roll everything at once. All right, that's an 8, so I don't need to re-roll the 1 on my 6. So that is a 19 on fear at a D8. So, yeah.
These are trolling you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the corridor ahead is actually not a corridor. I'm sorry, it's a big room. It's a chamber, and it looks like it was probably in the big bright light. You see what was probably once a dining area that had been reduced to rubble during this last invasion. it just completely lights up. And there were these 4 large goblin-like creatures with axes just coming in, and they're wearing the colors of the blue element, dark blue, light blue, and they're just coming in for a charge. A couple of them actually have spears that they're coming in with, and this presence fills the room, and everybody who is looking out, except of course for Sarah, are blinded by this for a moment. And as your retinas are catching up, there's just this one goblinoid bugbear standing there, looking very resolute, probably frightened, but not. No, he's making a stand. The others are gone,
All right.
long gone. Doors closing behind them.
Sarah's gonna pull out the mace and just gonna pat it in her hand and go, "Oh, you should have run with your friends, bud."
Makes a deep guttural growl and just postures.
So can we see? I mean, we saw part of it, but you closed the curtain behind you, right? So we weren't affected. So we don't know what's going
You
on.
probably hear Sarah advising this hobgoblin on what would have been a better life choice.
I feel like before we hear that, Matt is like, I guess that one was for the birds.
Do you think
how much
we have
psychic damage do I
probable
take? I take
cause to
two
open
psychic
the
damage.
to open the curtain and see what's?
Yeah, I
what's
think
happening?
Mads is like strolling, like it all got taken care of because he believes in Sarah's ability. And it's like, oh crap, there was a or whatever.
Yeah, he's a bugbear, and he's
Ah,
devoted
bugbear.
to the cause. This one has a spear, and so the first face that he sees, there's a spear coming at you.
Okay. That's not as good as mushrooms. So one of my disciplines is protection.
Yeah,
So I will
that
use.
counts as protecting yourself
So then,
in a way.
I mean, it seems like it could be necessary at this point.
It
Yeah.
might be helpful.
so then the gear I have, is it considered? I have a buckler shield. Is that considered blade or piercing?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so
So you can
And if you
buckle
have
that way up.
mail, would that also add to it?
Yeah, it would. It would.
then I'm gonna spend a D4 on protection because I feel like I got a lot of dice to not make this roll with.
Famous last words.
You get
Yeah.
a sweet 19.
I have done the calculus on the system, and it's swingier than D&D.
I'm pretty swingy. Okay.
Is that because the bonuses aren't static?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then I'm using force for this.
Yes, force.
Okay. And then soldier.
Yes, that counts. Right. Yeah, build it up, man. How big is that pool? I love this.
I'm at 5 dice so far. And then I guess fighter, but the strategy is not die, right?
Yeah, that's right.
It's your strategy for all of these things.
It's a solid
I'm
strategy.
super not good at rolling.
As you can see, it
With that
hasn't
pool
failed
of
him
6
yet.
dice,
That's
so
true.
do we.
I got an 11.
Nice.
That's a success.
Well, I
We
guess
did it.
gets you there.
This was a 2-stage threat. Sarah got 1 stage, you got the other
Mhm.
stage, but it was kind of a low roll. So, let's see. Okay, yeah, that's an easy solution. The spear is just completely deflected, and the bugbear is now without a weapon. Didn't think this through. So turns around and shouts as he runs away. And the room is now empty for a moment, except now you're hearing heavy footsteps. And the distinct growl of an ogre coming from the room beyond. He went and got the general, or the commander, or the colonel, whatever.
He went and got his big brother goat.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay, troll.
yeah. So there's an ogre coming now.
Everyone here, and I run to the corner of the room and say, "Surround me quickly."
Okay.
All right, I go
And
into
they give
the
you your exits
ghost
before you
team
decide what to do.
formation.
Yeah, that you can go back to the pool.
Mm-hmm.
There is the room that the hall or something that the bugbear ran into. That's where the ogre is coming from. Next to that is another door. So there's 2 ways to go, towards the baddies or the other way.
I want to run everyone into like one corner of the room,
Mhm.
and then I'm going to use an illusion to make it look like there's an uninterrupted wall,
Okay, sweet.
so that we're all hidden. That's why I want everyone to get as close to me as possible. And can I do that with a small illusion or a small like handheld?
It's arguable. Yeah, I think you can,
Okay.
given what you're trying to do, because you're just trying to make a wall.
Okay. So I'm going to use a D4 for that, and I'm going to be using will.
Right.
And
Y'all, if you want, I mean, this is an ogre threat, so it's probably more than one stage, but you can assist in some way, like trying to make yourself smaller or something, and then build his pool up. But that means you can't use that die for this threat.
Can I use a protection and use my shield as like, I guess, the plane for the wall?
Yeah, right. So that would be, so you can use his will. What's your will?
My will is a D6.
Add
All right.
D6 to that.
and let's can I use no, because I'm just making it blank. I'm just making it look like we're not there. Okay. Let me roll those dice. Uh, 13 and 7 is 20.
Yay! You can hear the die. You can hear the coins.
Ooh.
This one's smaller, but it's cool.
Okay.
So
So the goal is that I want to
to
make the room look empty as if we've already fled, so that the ogre will either head into the room that we came from or head down that other hallway thinking we've run away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that happens as described, because you do have narrative control, which one. So ogre comes in, sees nobody's there, and goes back.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That kind of nullifies, since this was technically a 2-stage threat, which means you would have to roll again to resolve the threat. But because of the way you did it, that kind of nullifies the whole threat.
Okay.
So we're just calling it. That means you're safe from the ogre. The ogre didn't see anybody in here. Nothing for him to do. Goes back to his ogre barracks.
Right.
So you're assuming at this point now that leads to barracks. There are more in there,
Right.
and they're looking for you, but you're not in here.
Time to vacate the premises.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it safe to assume that you want to go to where the guards aren't?
Yes.
At
Somebody
least
did.
check it out. Yeah.
I can't remember. Rose, did you get a success on the? You didn't even cast the locate object.
I didn't get a chance to. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you don't know where to
Do-
go.
So I don't
Or I
want
think
to.
I failed it. Yeah.
I don't want to screw everybody here, but I do have a suggestion if it's a 2-stage threat. The minor illusion is only visual, so maybe the ogre doesn't see us, but he could still smell something in the room that's off. If you want to continue that, or we can go ahead with the.
Yeah, let's go ahead, because the trick here is I can't nullify your success.
Okay.
And the intent of your success was that you wouldn't be found by the ogre, so that would nullify
Okay.
your success.
Fair
So I
enough.
think you just fixed it through
Okay.
smarts. Which is totally cool. All right. GMs should play fast and loose with stage levels, by the way, so that's totally acceptable in this game. What you're doing is you're trying to, how hard is it to get through? So really there's one way to go if you want to avoid the guards, unless you want to go
Let's
back
check it out.
swimming. Okay.
Yeah.
This
Well, there's
is,
no pool left anymore.
oh right, it's all on the walls.
Now it's just
It's a
now it's
fairly
just
damp.
slippery marble.
Yeah. Damp.
Element to
marble.
Earth's like, yeah, we got two. we got 2 altars now.
All right,
I'd
so you
like
make
me
it
to
out
do
into a
some-
pretty large promenade. This has pillars going through. It's kind of well lit. There's torches, so it's very different from upstairs. It looks like it's well traveled, well used. Definitely people around. There is the opportunity to go to the left into what looks like a huge well lit chamber, or You can go straight ahead, and it looks well lit, but it's all fire and torches. So I don't want to draw conclusions from you, but you just left a water altar. Chances are there might be some other altars here, and those are really your choices. And you can also go kind of back into another area which doesn't look very well traveled.
At this
And-
point, I'd like to try and cast locate
Oh,
locate MacGuffin
okay.
again,
Locate MacGuffin, right?
and I'm gonna like Sarah's just gonna like hop up and down a few times and like scuff her shoe on the ground, make sure it's steady, and then try to cast it again.
Now there are no threats on the table.
I'll let you introduce one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this one's easy. You don't have very much time. That's your threat.
Okay, so I'm going to use a D6, even though locate object is a D4 because I've already used my D4.
Can I use? Can I assist with mage? And use my will, and by doing so, what I would do is be able to speed this ritual along
Okay.
by finding the best place for the ritual to be cast, so the
So you're like-
energy doesn't have to be gathered as much. Yeah, two
Over here.
steps to the left. Wait, yes, right there.
Yeah. So that's
Okay.
it's will. So what's your will?
D8.
So you get a D8
Okay.
to your pool.
Cool. All right, and then I'm going to use my charisma for the ability. Would that work? Okay, and then what's that?
Well, what's the justification?
Because that's my good stat. that was the justification. I don't see a
Don't die. That's the.
don't die.
So charisma is really about is a social stat.
I
So,
I am
you could argue-
socializing with my deity.
Right. I was about to say. I mean, you could argue that this is like trying to get the information out of your deity
Yeah,
through winks and
like,
nudges.
it's
Yeah.
Dear Raven Queen, it's me, Sarah.
Yeah. Right.
I'm looking for these stones listed below. Could you please tell me where they are? XOXO Sarah with there isn't an I in Sarah's name, but there's still a heart.
Can't wait to see you at the barbecue.
Okay,
This is in the
and
Raven Queen Buy Nothing group. Looking for.
all right. Okay. So am I good to use my?
Yeah, you've justified
Perfect.
it in my eyes.
Okay. I rolled 2 1s, so let's try
Nice.
that again.
Perfect.
Okay, I got up to a 21.
Okay. All right.
Yay.
Cool. So you get an inspiration.
Hell yeah.
And you can have narrative control over well the threat was you don't have much time,
Mm-hmm.
so you can have narrative control over that, and also anything that how the Raven presents herself, and then I'll tell you what the information is.
Okay, so I think actually she does just write a letter to the Raven Queen. And then just like it looks really weird because this is kind of a combination of halfling tradition and Raven Queen like ritual. And so she writes it out and like she signs her name, and then there's a date that she writes below that, and it's in the future. It's a little ways out. It's her death date. And then she folds the note and like seals it and then throws the letter over her shoulder. And then just waits. And then another letter comes over the other shoulder and just like
I love
tumbles
it.
onto the floor in front of her.
That's awesome.
And so she picks it up, and it is like basically which direction to go for each of the stones. And like basically what order we should try to go after them in would be my hope. With a 20 plus, yeah, it's basically here's your laundry list of where to go, like based off of where you are right now.
Here's your walkthrough.
And like a little map kind of showing you the route.
Oh, I wasn't even gonna go for a map. It's just like this direction for this one, that direction for that one. You should go in this order.
But they're all kind of generally in the same area.
Okay.
So what the instructions tell you is how to get to that area as quickly as possible.
Okay.
And
Map quest.
yeah. Go left.
It's more of
go
a
right.
quest map, but yeah.
So just looking at these instructions, you can see that you have to go down 1, 2 levels, and you can see the quickest way to do that. So we'll just assume now you know where to go.
Okay.
Had you not fallen through the floor, there would have been an oracle that could have helped you upstairs, but this works too.
We don't need oracles. We have Sarah.
So, like, I need
All right,
an
so-
Oracle who's just hanging out in the Temple of Elemental Evil.
You definitely don't want to
Pretty
go.
shady.
It's a living.
Look, you don't want to judge people like based off of their circumstance, but you can judge people based off the company they keep.
Yes.
The circumstance is you're in the Temple of Elemental Evil. Okay. But
But who are you hanging with?
exactly.
So here we go. All right, so you know now where to go. It would be a waste of time to go towards the fire. It'd be a waste of time to go into that kind of back untraveled area. You're gonna go straight towards the really well, brightly lit, whitish room. And that's the direction you need to go. You'll need to go through there, and then there's a corridor and some stairs that go down, and you'll have to keep going down. So
Okay.
Can I introduce a truth into this scene before we go there?
please.
That there are 4 sets of robes that will let us sort of infiltrate this area.
Nice.
That they're conveniently in all of our sizes.
Very nice. That's cool.
Can I add on to that a little bit without spending? Not for just for flavor.
Oh, flavor, sure.
Sure.
This really well bright lit white room doubled as a laundry room.
Actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So there are some like basins and stuff, and these were hung out to dry.
Alternatively, instead of them all being the right size, can it be 3 robes and I just ride on Mad's shoulders with a robe?
That's awesome.
Half like a dwarf in a robe.
It makes sense it's the laundry because it was the closest to the water element.
Exactly.
And then the fire right across the way, so you wash and
Go
dry.
Oh man, this is I've run this a lot, and this is the first time anybody's ever been in this area of the dungeon. It's very exciting. You are the white large room. Is it octangular? It's a room in the shape of an octangle because it has 8 sides, and inside it is just
It's shaped like an octopus.
Stop. It is full of white mist, very thick. The air is almost it's like Florida humid. And if you like that kind of thing, I don't know. There
My
is
skin does. My
an
hair
altar on a raised platform in the middle of the room. You have to cross this room to get to the stairs that go up to the hallway. And there are other stairs that go up because you're kind of in like, it's almost like an arena is how it's built. And so there are these major staircases that kind of lead you go back up. And you have to kind of cross this room. Now there is a definite sense of foreboding in here, but you don't see anything. There aren't any people in here, as far as you can tell. However, you do have these nifty robes, so they're just kind of hung on hooks.
Mhm.
And they're not wrinkled at all.
That's the advantage of the humidity.
Yeah.
the steam treatment. Come on.
All right. I think Sarah's just gonna be like, okay, I know the way, and trot off.
Okay.
All right, I get robed up and I'm going to follow.
Mhm.
Okay.
I think did a good job in the water fight by not swallowing any of the water. So now he's going to try to hold his breath as long as he can so he doesn't have to breathe in this room. This is a side note.
Okay. That doesn't help you from your rotting skin. Everybody,
Hey, I fixed the. Oh, is this new rotting
the
skin?
new
Oh, no.
rotting skin.
Oh,
You're just walking through and then like, ooh, ow, what's that tingling? And then you're looking down and your skin, everybody's skin is starting to rot. And it's
That's at first was
slow,
like-
but it's happening, and it doesn't feel good. It seems to be progressing, and at the moment you stop, it starts progressing more. And then the pain stops. And now you have just sort of splotches of dead skin all over your body.
Okay. Sounds like we need to get across as quickly as humanly possible. In my case.
I'd
Kate's
like to
foot.
go ahead and bless the party and
Okay.
just kind of throw a divine shield on everyone from this obviously evilness.
Yeah, great. Do it.
And
We're
then
confronting the threat, obvious evilness.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite blatant.
Is this
Okay.
the same kind of fungus that produces mushroom skin?
It's not fungus.
Oh, it's just rot.
It's just rot. Yeah, it's like
That's
your
what's hoping.
skin is rotting.
Not even.
The skin died.
Oh.
Like,
So
not
is
even
it
useful.
continuing or did it?
It stopped. It reached a point and then stopped.
Okay.
It was an attack.
Hmm. Okay, so do I need to actively defend against it, or are we
well,
just
it's
like...
up to you, but if I were you, I would. But I mean,
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. All right, and knowledge of the divine?
no, this isn't really a divine situation. This is something otherworldly, but not divine.
Alrighty. Do I still get to use my charisma, or should I have put my stats differently? Is will pretty much the spellcasting ability?
Yeah, basically, it depends on the situation.
I should have done that differently because
I mean, you can argue for it if you're doing it in a particular way, because the stats aren't about your ability; they're about your intent. Are you
Yeah,
trying
I
to?
think Sarah's trying to kind of rally everybody
That's a charisma roll.
as
Yeah.
bring everyone together, protect them, and team mom everyone through this room.
Yeah, that's what the game wants. The game wants you to do it in a way that fits your character, so that you can justify the use of certain dice. So yeah, charisma.
So, that one was caught. Okay, that is a 10 on the die, or not on the die, but on the number.
I mean, it's fine, but you want to get higher, right?
Yeah, I am aware.
Okay,
I'm aware of that too, but
the all
It's
right.
not about what I want; it's about what I got.
So this protective shield comes up. What does it look like when you bless them? It's probably not glowy and fun looking, right?
No, it's honestly something you don't see as much as you just kind of hear. Like, again, you hear the wings and you hear kind of like a soft cawing, and it feels actually like you're covered in like down feathers.
I mean, the blessing immediately is not even healing; it just stops the necrotic influence, and so your skin feels fine again. However, Sarah is suddenly stricken. I've forgotten how to use my language, my native language. Stricken.
Or struck, depends.
With a horrible migraine, like to the point that debilitating, fall on the ground migraine. And it hits you hard. Now, I'm going to make you take a harm. You don't always get a harm on a 10 to 19, but in some cases you do. And this is a case where you do.
Absolutely.
That is, it's so bad. I mean, I don't think that Sarah notices, but she's bleeding from her nose.
I'm going to mark that to force because she feels, that scares her.
There's a whispering white shadow. It just kind of goes against shadow, but form in the mist that kind of floats overhead.
Can I tell what that is? Like, is that a magical construct?
As a mage, I
summoning?
think you would just natively know. It's a wraith,
Okay.
and it's hitting you with magic. Now you know you're protected from that necrotic power, but there's other powers that it can do.
Okay.
It's not a sustained. By the way, Sarah, it's not. You're not continually having a headache. It just hits you and it's gone.
Okay.
I'm gonna strike out against the form of the mist
Mm-hmm.
as a, fuck this, basically. And And I'm gonna argue that to use will here as like a powering through against like the fear. And also, like, even if whatever this thing is, maybe not totally corporeal, but like break its concentration.
Mm-hmm.
If it is slightly corporeal, so much the better for me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you probably have experience with some things like this before, and it does. Mundane things can't help and work.
So I'm gonna use my bow. I'm the first to attack.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I forgot about that feat.
And then
That always makes players go, me first.
I'm gonna use my survival.
Yeah.
And let's just go with another d6 there. We can save that. I feel like survival might be something I care about
Right.
later on as well.
I mean, you could use hunt if you wanted.
Through the mist.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it ends up being the same thing.
Attack the darkness.
So there we go. That's unfortunate. It's an 8.
Okay.
I mean, I rolled 2 6s,
You burned a die too.
and I burned a die, but my 2d20 was a 2.
Oh.
So literally, like, I would have had to roll an 8 on my d8, and I didn't. Womp womp.
You're not going to make it past the air temple?
That's so
So-
unfortunate.
It's a good thing character gen goes quickly. We can roll up new characters.
Bow knocked, and it just comes screeching down from above. It has this horrifying howl and goes through you. Thank goodness the bless is on. Otherwise, you would have been decayed. But instead, what happens is it just knocks you over and chills you to the bone. And and you find yourself like frozen to the point where you can move, but you can't really use your weapons. Like you've been chilled to the bone. That's going to take you a moment to recover. That's going to cost a harm.
Okay. That's terrifying.
And I'll also add, there is this ominous voice in the mist that says, "Leave this sanctified space."
Does it come from the wraith?
Came from everywhere.
From everywhere. Okay. I'm going to create and target a gust of wind and like force it into a corner so that it's easier for someone to strike it with an axe. On there. So let me do that.
Who would do that?
Gotta be lucky. That is a 20 on the die plus 3, 23.
Nice.
Nice.
You gonna start hoarding these?
No, I got our robes. I'm spending them.
All right. And because of the way you characterize this, I'm going to give you an advantage die if you want to take an axe on, which means you get actually an advantage means you get an advantage in the traditional way. You roll the d20 twice, pick the highest.
Sweet.
Oh no, I have that wrong. I forgot my own rules. I do this. That's disadvantage.
D6, right?
It's a d6, right? Thank you. At least somebody's paying attention.
So I will use force, right?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to like I have X magic item, I gotta spend this, right?
You have to spend that if you want to add d6 to your pool. Oh, and you just want to create. Oh, I have one on me. Yeah, spend that.
Okay. Where's my D8? Right in front of my face. All right, cool. I think I will save my magic item idea for later and then just smack the crap out of it.
Yeah.
With some
Just an axe. It's a
Like-
magic axe.
like firestorm with Howie Long. Action goes long. And he throws the axe after it passes through That's already Oh crap! 21.
Finally.
Woo! Actually 22, but it doesn't matter.
You're so much math at this game.
Yeah.
What do we play? Wild Talents?
Hey, could we bio break after this scene?
Of course.
Perfect.
So well, you get narrative control. There is still another stage to this threat. So this doesn't destroy it, but what does it do? That gives you an advantage. What happens?
I think that it distracts it enough to think, like, you threw an axe at me. So I think it just more of, see it, Mads is more of a threat. So I think it's more of like a taunt. So now it's like pissed at Mads for like throwing his axe at him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So it's going to focus his ire on you.
Mm-hmm.
And the axe, did it have an effect on it though?
No, I think if he's going to have an axe type ability, it's going to be more of like a elemental type ability
Yeah.
for dwarf. So
Yeah. All right. So it just distracted and
Yeah.
pissed it off. All right. So it's going. It's
So
probably.
it distracts.
Yeah. Who wants to take advantage of that distraction?
I would. I'd like to spend my inspiration to introduce that I have a sanctified shovel. And out of nowhere with a steel chair, it's Sarah. So I'm gonna D4 Wrath Smite. And that's gonna be some force. I think with my domain being death and stuff, I think I get that D6 from understanding of the divine.
Yeah.
My entire thing is about dealing with dead and undead
Right.
things.
Mhm.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, that's gonna be a D8, 2D6. Yeah, or no, not 2D6. Hang on. D6 from that, D4 from the spell. And where'd my D8 come from? That's not right at all. So it should be 2D6 and a D4. Okay, there we go. All right, roll that all at once. Hope for the best. That's a lot of ones. Let's see if the D6 rolls into a 6. It does. 10. Thank God for lucky. I would rather be lucky than good. I rolled a 4. So that comes out to a 10 with the luck re-rolling a 1 into a 6.
All right.
So
So
just a sanctified shovel. Whack. Back into the dirt.
it just works unexpectedly well, and there's a bit of quiet. The mist completely goes away, and it's a little tropey, but I mean the consequences of this is that it screeches really loudly, and now everybody on this floor knows something's wrong in the air temple. So you all have to book it.
Yep, just
So-
shovel over the shoulder, just running.
And you know where to go. It is going to go where you need to go, and then we can take a quick break at this point.
Perfect.
And now a word from our sponsors. So you have a decrepit dungeon.
You made it through a second level, so I mean it's happening. It's working.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone, I'm going to put us in the waiting room. I don't know that we'll be gone the whole 10 minutes. If you're listening to this later, I'm hoping that Kimmy or someone will edit this out. And to the rest of you watching live, we'll be back shortly. And we're back. Thank you so much for waiting for us. We are ready to get back into the Tomb of Elemental Evil, or Temple of Elemental Evil, rather.
The Tomb of Elemental Horror.
Same.
No, what was our redesign
On the
show name?
Borderlands.
Yeah, on the border.
Dungeon renovation.
Yeah, Dungeon Renovation.
Save my dungeon.
Could do a hoarders episode. This lich has
You
way
have
too many black
18 goblin swords.
We already got the holy shovel in
I need
this
them
game.
all. These can be valuable.
There's a comic that there's another character who has a holy shovel, and
Awesome.
I need to remember. Oh, Death Vigil, by Stepan Sejic, which is very entertaining. But yeah, I can't claim entirely original idea on the holy shovel.
Holy shovel's great, especially for a devotee of the Raven Queen.
Mm-hmm. Get back in the dirt, or so help me.
So, you make your way across this chamber. You go up the stairs into a big corridor, but you know where to go. You just go straight down, and there's another set of stairs that'll take you to the next level. You don't know what else is around. You don't care. We're going to get to the gems.
Eyes on the
Save the day.
prize.
We got to run these jewels.
Now, this staircase that goes down into the third level is very, very steep and very, very long. At the bottom of it, there's a large chamber that is firelit, and you can hear voices and grumblings. There's people down there. Now, you know, Sarah, that you have to go through this area and kind of basically cut a corner and then go down another set of stairs. And that is the level you need to be on. But there are people in the way here, so you have to decide how you want to proceed. I will add that once you step past a certain threshold on the staircase, the air becomes extremely heavy, and it feels like that when you watch a really scary movie at night, the way that you feel the rest of the night is how you feel like all the time. It's something very evil down here, very unsettling, and you can't quite put a finger on it. But you recognize some of the walls around here. Like the way this is built and designed looks like the area in your dream, and this looks like the staircase that you were going down.
Okay.
So this is probably even more frightening to you.
Yeah. And I think Mads makes that known, like, hey, this could be the area where the ultimate evil, I don't want to put hyperbole on it, but it was pretty bad, came out.
Then we should be on guard.
Well, let's lean
I
into.
only have the one.
Let's lean into these ropes that we so serendipitously found. Heads down, eyes on the prize.
Okay.
I only have the one shovel.
You're gonna head down incognito is the plan.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Since you were the one that had this plan, I'm gonna make you roll against this threat. If we were at the table, it would be a lot more dramatic because I would put down on cards what you're up against. This is going to be either a single stage threat or a 5-stage threat, depending on what happens. So
Times. No pressure.
no pressure.
And speaking of, I am going to use will for this because this is battling against like the existential dread,
Yeah.
and
right.
it's battling against like being noticed.
This is about mental fortitude. Less it is charisma.
I'm gonna say
So before you roll, I'll let you know what's up because you're just walking kind of down. That there is the chamber is kind of a triangular chamber, and then there's 2 side rooms off to the side, and there are 4 bugbears in there, and they are hiding. So when you approach in your clothes, they respond by trying to run away from you. Like they are, you immediately realize these are deserters. So you wore the wrong costume to the party, probably.
I mean, or
Or
the right costume because they'll stay the fuck away from us,
Mm-hmm.
and we can get through by bluffing.
So they see you coming and they're like looking at each other and they're picking up some, like they were playing some poker game, and they're picking up their stuff and they're trying to scuttle and get over to the side chamber where apparently there are more. So now roll and see. Well, tell me what you do and then roll.
Well, I'm gonna roll will. I'm gonna say that professional would apply here because I noticed what's going on with bugbears. I noticed what we saw of the cultists upstairs, and it's like, this is the attitude we all need to embody. This is what we need to do. And I'm gonna say journey will work here because I am plotting us the best route through. Best being quickest.
Yeah.
Furthest away from the bugbears.
I have a weird assist. See if you'll allow it. Is to use charisma because we saw the general guy walk by, so he knows the gait of the cadence of the walk. So he'll use his soldier, I guess soldierly training to get kind of everybody in step to make it look more legit.
Yeah, I'll count that. So that's your charisma?
Yeah, D4.
All right, so throw a D4.
I got next.
Never know, that might be the winning die.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so.
Did you get my D4?
I got your D4. I got my fun little.
Oh, that's weird.
I love it. It's not pointy. Also, it has a little like hex symbol inside of it, like it's a spellcasting symbol inside. Oh, and then the D6 for that. So that should be. Okay, 15.
Okay, so we don't need to unleash the 5-stage threat.
Yet.
Yeah.
Not this 5-stage threat, anyway.
All right, so let me make sure I understand your intent. You were just going to go through purpose and let them get away from you.
Yeah, I'm gonna use our because their instinct is to run back to their other guys and
Yeah.
pretend to be doing whatever they're supposed to be
Right.
doing.
Yeah.
Yes, that is what I want to happen.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah. They believe it, and they are like, "We're caught," and they're talking to each other in Goblin. I don't know if anybody can speak Goblin, but they're saying like, "I told you we needed to go up a level," and they're like arguing and then bickering as they go off into the side. And when you pass the side, you can see there are 3 ogres, 6 bugbears, and they just keep on going. There's like a bunch of people in there that are all deserting,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to find their way out, and they're like freaking out now, and they're closing curtains and trying to put their stuff away. They think they got caught. So you make it
We
past.
need to unionize the goblinoids.
It's an
Truly.
opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Better working conditions. Less crumbling floors. You know how many OSHA violations that is?
Yeah. Right. Not safe. Not safe.
2 hours in the fire room, 4 hours in the water room.
Mm.
Okay, so
Smoke break in the air room.
well, you get past them, and now you're going downstairs again. And as you descend, that weight is lifted, the fear and anxiety is lifted. So whatever was going on is happening up there. So you're kind of grateful to get away from that. But this is the lowest level of the temple. So there's some stuff down here. This is where the gems are. But this is probably where everybody else is too. So when you get down the staircase, you enter an enormous series of passages. You're coming up from high, so you can get a sort of bird's eye view, and it's sort of Temple of Doom style, just descends all the way back, flaming torches into a huge stage altar area, like way back. We're talking a quarter mile. It's far. And then there are all of these side passages right below you, which is just totally populated. You can see torches going. You can see people walking around. There are cultists. There are bugbears. There are gnolls. There are ogres. It's totally populated. But this is the main corridor, so they're kind of coming in and out off to the side. and you can guess that the complex goes really far either way. If you continue to go straight down, you can see this huge plaza, which is obviously used for sacrifices and stuff. There's a lava pit. There's fire going up and down. There's this old statue that looks like some evil god that they're worshiping. And then there's curtains, and it goes beyond that. Now, the map that Sarah has, it says that the stones are off in these side chambers, kind of over by that altar. But there's a curious note from the Raven Queen, which is in parentheses. It says not on this plane.
Okay.
So you're dealing with interplanar stuff here. So that's the situation. Now you can see all the way in the corridor at the end where that altar staging area is. There are cultists. There's a boss cultist that's sort of leading everybody through a chant. But like I say, that's like a quarter mile down. It's really far. And then you have all of these guards and cultists that are streaming in and out of these chambers to the side ahead of you.
I'd like to hit the quick save button and roll divination at a D8. And basically, Sarah is going to use divination to try a bunch of different paths and see the potential outcomes of them until she finds the right one.
Okay. So you're Doctor
And it's like,
Stranging
we're
your way
wearing-
through this?
Yeah,
Exactly
Dr.
what I was
Strange.
thinking.
I also would accept the Heat of the Moment episode of Supernatural where where Dean just dies over and over and over again.
Where there's that
That's such a
book
great
series about it's a straight ripoff of the Dresden Files, but the main character is an oracle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
With
Or that Tom Cruise movie.
Or Groundhog's Day.
Kill la Kill.
Minority Report.
Live Die Repeat.
Yeah,
Live, Die,
I
Repeat.
have All You Need Is
Whatever it was
Kill.
called.
I have the manga on my bookshelf. It's really, really good. So there's a lot of media about doing this stuff where you die over and over again. Is what we're getting at. So I would say that's probably force.
Yeah, but we don't know what
reinforcing it.
we don't know what the threat is. There is no real threat. I mean, I told you what the set piece
I assumed
is.
all the cultists was the
But nobody is aware you're here, so there is no threat. Now, if you were to, and right now you're trying to find the best way through. So we actually need to create a threat.
I was thinking
Oh, go ahead.
about creating a threat since there's already dissidents in the group between them, that hopefully it extends to this floor as well. So I think I don't know if I need to spend a point for this, but Mads finds like one of their bow and arrows or something, and he's gonna take a pop shot at a guy and just kill him, and then make it seem like the other group did it. So then they start fighting each other.
Okay. All right. So the threat you want to introduce is dissonance in the group. Pay up. I would have done something different, but that's okay.
That's why we spend.
Well, you have all the notes.
So what am I rolling here? Oh yeah.
Well, it's actually Sarah's rolling.
Oh. So then.
I'll let him roll.
Well, you don't have to roll to create the threat.
You just created
Oh
the
yeah.
threat.
So now it's like a free for all.
Okay. And at this point, it's gonna be a combination of all of those scenes and the Freebird scene from Kingsman of us just trying to run through this absolute pandemonium.
Leroy Jenkins.
Like chicken.
Just Freebird solo. And that is a 21.
Whoa.
So
But so the threat was dissonance in the group, which could have backfired. That's why it's a good threat. And so success means that there's going to be a lot of chaos that would allow you to do what you want to do. But you have narrative control, so you tell me what happens, how you get through.
So the there is this cascading thing of Mads firing the arrow, which hits a guy who like falls and like fires off a crossbow into someone else, and like somebody sees that and like just like immediately just like takes out a knife and shanks the guy next to him, and just like
It's on.
you just see like the arrow fires, and we get this like top down view of the arrow hitting a guy, and then the arrow firing off from that guy hitting another guy, and then like the violence cascading out, until just the entire room is just everybody in different colored cloaks stabbing each other. There's fireballs. Somebody drops an earth elemental on top of somebody else. Somebody else is like spun upside down by a water weird. Like 8 people go tumbling by in like a whirlwind. And just like from the top down, we just see Sarah like somebody has her hand on her shoulder, person behind them has the hand on their shoulder, and we're just like conga lighting through the chaos.
I'm gonna insert here that we are in height order.
Yep.
So Mads has his hand on Sarah's shoulder, and Banasri has her hand on Matt's shoulder, and McFadden has his hand on Banasri's shoulder.
And then eventually like we have to like all duck down under something, and it's like basically just Sarah walking under it and everyone else having to duck,
Right.
and like all this stuff.
Sarah's calling out duck or 2 steps to the left to get us down the line.
awesome.
That's like
Lean.
things keep happening all around us.
Yeah. And then I think like the music either has to actually be the Freebird solo or just like a symphonic like waltz of us just kind of walking our way through this absolute
is the bedlam
chaos.
happening in slow motion with like
Yeah, like
Okay.
you see a guy like getting punched by an earth elemental just flying slowly behind us.
the tension finally broke. There are trolls. There are bugbears.
Mhm. Yeah. There's like an ogre is wrestling an earth elemental. There's like 18 goblins being spun around in a tornado. Yeah.
Perfect.
And that gets us to the dais, like where the big cult leader guy is. And either we can get there just kind of unnoticed, or we get there and can kind of deal with them. I don't want to like
Well, the truth
I
was
rolled
about
well,
the last
but I don't
threat,
want to
yeah.
like resolve every threat.
Yeah, the
kind of thing.
truth was about the last threat, so you got past all of those
Mhm.
people because of the dissonance.
Yeah.
But as you get past that, which is when you're going through, you can see through this bedlam there are many chambers going to either side, and they're just tons of creatures that are all now in melee with one another. And you get past that point, a commander type comes running out of one of the big chambers, trying to order the troops and the people around, but nobody's listening to him. And he comes up and he sees you and now just makes the deductions. And so he has he's a cultist human,
Mhm.
but he breaks out this 2-handed sword and just comes charging. He's sees the threat, the only line of defense at this point. Behind him is the corridor that leads to the dais, and that is where you see this big, powerful cultist guy. And he is now levitating and watching what's going on.
Mhm. I'd like to apply tactical shuffle.
Well, hold that thought. Let's see if there's another move first.
I mean, I got an axe.
And a shield.
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
You're also next in line, literally.
Oh, that's true.
Sarah's just gonna yell, "My vision only went this far," and then ducks out of the way.
Oh, I forgot about your vision. The vision does tell you you have to go through the dais in order to get to the elemental planes, which are off
yeah.
to the side. So, and each
I
plane has
already
its
knew
own
that.
corridor. Yeah.
The vision was, how do I get there without dying?
Right.
And basically seeing the iterations. So we actually get a flashback of all the iterations where it's like Sarah getting hit by the elemental and like
Right.
Like just suddenly a stalactite falls and crushes Mads. You're like, oh no, and then it goes back.
I feel like that should definitely have yakety sax.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I kind of like the idea that like all of the things we saw happening to other people were things like in
Stuff
each
that
of the
happened to
visions. Stuff happened to us. Like we're all twirling around in a tornado. Like
Yeah,
and
in
Ogre's using
Sarah's,
one
like-
of you as a bat against another one of you.
In Sarah's pocket is like the list of tried and crossed out ideas.
It's funny. Yeah, so I guess Mads will shield, even though he kind of wants to attack. He's
can do
gonna
what you want.
attack.
All right. So you against
I threw
Commander
an axe
Deca.
at him. Yeah. So I wish I had like a fight dirty. Is there a way to get like kick like dirt in his face or like or throw the mushrooms into his face to like distract him?
Yeah, you can get advantage die if you do something like that.
Okay. Well, sorry guys, we don't have food anymore.
won't need it if we get in and out. Also, I like the return of the face mushrooms.
Yeah, you gotta find a use for the mushrooms. It's like a Chekhov gun, those mushrooms. You need
Yeah.
to use this sometime.
If
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if I use like force to assist, does that mean I'm giving up my move?
Not really. No, it's unless it's a spell you're casting.
No.
Yeah.
I just want to,
You want to use
like
magic to assist.
as he's doing that, I want to swing my staff
Mhm.
and try and distract him or hit him in the knees or something like that.
Right. Yeah, that would be an assist. So you get his force die.
So that's a d6.
Forceful.
But I should, before you start assisting, this is a pretty big threat. That means you won't be able to use force on
Sure.
this guy. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
And then axe. And then I'm a soldier. Okay, so this is advantage. I gotta start this over. This is the d20. This is my force. This is the axe. This is the assist.
And how does advantage work in this game? Because it's different than the other game.
You get a d6 extra.
Each d6. Okay.
So
Disadvantage works like D&D.
Right. I remembered that part. I just knew that it didn't work the other way.
The reason you get more d6s is because that rounds out the pool better. You get a bigger chance of less swinging.
Fighter, do I get a d6 for the tag teaming?
Yeah, take all the die.
That's
Just
a
take them all.
tactic.
Take them.
Yeah. All right, here we go again.
You could also throw in a discipline.
You could.
I could, but
that's
there was a lot of dice, so I had faith, and I got a 21.
Yeah.
So just so you understand the mechanics, since you have narrative control,
Mhm.
threat is still in play, but you can kind of give yourself an advantage by telling me exactly what happens here. I mean, he's not going to get
Right.
beheaded, but he might.
Or maybe he
Fall
did get
down.
beheaded, and another head just grows back.
Make things difficult for me.
Yeah. I do think the tag team is, I think it's something that over the 100 years that Mads and McFadden have been hanging out and being adventure bros. That this is when they fought against the trolls. That they perfected the tag team of hitting him in the knee, and then Mads coming up and hitting the whatever the threat was with the butt of the axe to like stun it,
Mm-hmm.
and then that usually would open up for a McFadden uber spell.
Can I make a little suggestion that because of the height difference,
Mm-hmm.
that the thing is that McFadden goes low
Mm-hmm.
and Mads goes high, which is not what people would think. So it throws everyone off their game
Mhm.
as I whack him in the shin and then you.
And also,
Club him in the
Mads
face.
runs and jumps off of McFadden's back to add a pseudo fastball special.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so that's what happens.
So, and the way it works when I'm running the game is I have, if you were to roll 11 to 19, I would have something that he would do back, you know,
Mhm.
with his base spell list or whatever. But since you got a 20 plus, he's not going to be doing
Yeah.
anything. He's totally stunned. And
Because this is our well seasoned, well trained Tag team attack.
He has a WTF expression, you know, and kind of loses his bearings and looking, what am I actually up against? And he probably keeled over because he hit it, you know, the shin. That's not fun.
Yeah.
So he's keeled over and on the shin, and he's looking around. He's very confused. Doesn't do anything else. That leaves an opening for somebody to do something else.
How many tiers of threat is this guy?
Well, right now he's down to 3.
Okay, so there's 3 left, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I was trying to figure out if the next one would be like a finisher or not. Okay, cool. In that case, tactical shovel to the other shin. like slides between McFadden's legs and then like swings out the shovel and hits the other leg.
Nice. Let's hope it works.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a D20 plus my D6 force. Let's see. Could I use I do not tire quickly and can endure physical activity for a long time? Because we just went through a really long, really intense
Yeah, definitely.
scene.
Totally makes sense. Yeah.
Just basically like, oh yeah, Sarah's background is she's a laborer, like she was a peasant.
Yeah.
And so this is just like, this is actually easier than working the fields all day.
It's not like Tuesday.
Okay, D20 plus 2D6.
Can I assist
right.
with this using charisma?
Yeah, you're
It's not
you're-
gonna
Which is
help.
like, hey,
it's
look
not
up
gonna
here.
help. It's not gonna help. That was a nat
Okay.
1.
Oh yeah.
I rolled a 6 on the D6, but that's a nat 1.
Oh boy. Well, did you? Oh,
What?
Yeah, you can't.
So
beat
the talents and abilities,
I could-
does that only pertain to us?
If you can argue a case narrative, it's a narrative-based game. So if you can argue something,
But the I can't get a bonus high enough. Even
no, you.
Oh, yeah,
an
'cause
8
it's
would
an 8
get me
isn't
to a
gonna help.
9.
Right. Yeah,
Right.
that's definitely a
So-
botch. So,
Uh-huh.
let me look at his list of things he can do.
Do I lose my blessed shovel?
Would you? Oh yeah.
Oh no!
Not the shovel of Antioch.
My grandmother gave me that shovel.
So some of these are
It's
boring.
a piece
I
of the
wanna
one
do-
true shovel.
Okay. He is just easily sidesteps the other shin blow, and reaches his hand out and kind of does an upwards gesture. And one of the cultists that got killed by another cultist stands up and just starts charging forward. And there is a ravenous zombie behind you because he pulled it from the crowd that was behind you. So now there's
Oh,
two
you
threats
really
in
did
play.
it now, buddy.
When there's multiple threats in play, when you ignore one threat, it escalates. So you have to make hard choices at this point.
Is the levitating guy part of this threat with the cult?
Not yet.
He's a different.
He's in the
threat.
wings. Yeah.
Okay.
He's watching. He's seeing how Deckham handles himself because Deckham got promoted yesterday and he was like, all right,
I
Go
was on
time.
the edge. They overruled me, but let's
I really think that the whole
let's see how he does.
yeah,
this stand is really the tip off point for the union.
right.
They were like, I thought this was supposed to happen at 6, but I guess we're just doing it now.
Deckham's trying. He's going to try to impress his boss. See how it goes.
Ba, 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 ba. I'm going to use warding to create a temporary magical armor for Sarah
Okay.
so that this zombie can't bite or attack, so that it's, clawing against the magical ward.
That was a 1. You do have to get hurt. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
yeah.
But you can
I'll
stop her
take-
from getting hurt more.
Okay.
Unless you want to use it
Oh,
elsewhere.
I-
I completely.
I can still, yeah.
Yeah, the zombie did get to you and started
Do I,
tearing you up.
do I take the harm to the stat I was using?
It depends on how you feel. Like if this is like making you scared, it should go to force.
What happens when all 3 of my harm get filled in a tree?
That means you can't use that die anymore until you heal.
Okay.
It.
I'll go ahead and mark the harm to charisma
Okay.
because
This is embarrassing.
that makes it. Well, it's more just like, oh, people are raising zombies in front of me. That's just fucking rude.
Okay.
It's like
All right.
can't let the Raven Queen see this.
Yeah,
I'm so bad at my job.
Like, if I had shoveled this guy appropriately, this would not be happening.
Yeah, sorry to backpedal a bit, but you should have gotten hurt. So what happens is a zombie does make it to you, starts tearing you up.
Mm-hmm.
Do you still want to use your shield? Because it would prevent further harm.
Yeah, that's what
Okay.
I'm going
Yeah.
to do. So I know I'm ignoring the guy with the sword, but I'm trusting Mads to take care of him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you're handling the zombie threat.
And so I'm going to roll the D4 for that and a D20.
That sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless there's something else you can add.
Can I take a D6 for mage? Like my knowledge of magic isn't
It's
being,
being
tested, but
tested.
doing it fast.
By doing it fast. Right. That works. Oop, shield.
Yeah. Well, you are doomed, because that was another nat 1.
Oh,
so
no.
that's a 5 total, but
I'll take another harm.
This is when things get really fun.
yeah.
Can I volunteer to take the harm rather than it getting him, or like because narratively it makes sense?
Narratively makes
Narratively
sense,
it makes
but
sense.
if there's an effect that happens to me, that's fine also.
Well, you'll continue. I mean, harm doesn't necessarily mean physical harm. I mean, you are being harmed, yes. But the harm is actually going to... oh, man, I forgot her name.
It's emotional damage.
Emotional
My character-
damage. No,
My character is
McFadden.
Sarah.
Yeah, the harm is actually going to you because of how it pans out. So I just have to decide how I want to handle it. We have... I'm just gonna activate the boss. He's not at all convinced that this is gonna work well.
Wait a minute, they're casting spells?
It's
It's above your pay grade, buddy.
Yeah. They're kind of like a middle manager, like somebody I could kind of like give responsibility, but not really.
Really, the big guy is kind of a micromanager. He's
Yeah.
like, I've sat out for as long as I can make myself sit out, but like you're obviously handling this poorly. Look, you haven't actually taken any of
I'm
mine
going
yet."
to take a harm to force because like magic isn't supposed to fail me.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of making me like.
And I think I'm
oh,
just
what
going to be an
happened?
outright fail. What happens is the levitating guy just sort of does this sort of, and the shield goes.
Oh, just counter
Like he
spells.
just kind of no fucking shield. Okay. Anyway, get back to where you were. Hey, he's very blasé about it.
Okay. So the cost is just that I lost the spell slot.
You lost the spell slot, and it has an effect on you.
Okay.
That was totally what it was like a gnat.
Yeah.
to this
No, fair enough.
So is it fear? Is it shame? Is it anger?
I think it's fear.
Yeah. Okay. So mark your force.
Yeah.
All right. So now there are 3 threats on the table. So I don't know. You need to start doing something different. I don't know what.
I am going to use an inspiration to add even more. Like there's Dissent and the cultists have been fighting each other,
Yeah.
but we really haven't dealt with the Chekhov's union downstairs.
Yes, we haven't.
So,
There is a Chekhov's union. You're right. Yeah.
so I am going to use an inspiration to say that the Chekhov's union comes through, and they are like, and there is one of whatever creature, like I don't know if it's a
The Return of the Knoll.
It's
They locked him out.
like a
Because use union organizing.
He leads the charge.
and he comes in like nose at the front, running through,
There's gnolls, bugbears, trolls, ogres. We've seen all of those.
and
Oh my.
and they're like, meat's on the menu, boys. So they come
Eat
in
the rich.
to start like decimating the corpses and go after the zombie because the zombie is dead as well.
Mm-hmm.
That my intent here is to hamper the ability to raise anyone else and to get rid of the zombie, as all dead things are meat.
Okay, cool. Well, the zombie threat's in place, so you can't eradicate it, but you can introduce this, that the union has arrived. That's going to be a complication for like everything that these guys want to do.
Seize
So,
the means
we'll
of
take that.
destruction.
Seize the means of destruction. I love it. but they're actually specifically going after their power sources, is what you're saying. So like get rid of the ability for them to create zombies, and because the Union obviously knows where and how they work. So yeah, that'll be something you can leverage. Yeah.
So you know how hyenas have those like ruffs of fur on their back? The only thing you have to lose is your manes. Sorry,
So
don't
we,
mind me.
we have Degum, we have his boss, we have a zombie,
And does that use my turn? I guess is my other question.
and the Union has shown up. So there's a rallying cry going on behind, and all these the dissonance is now getting kind of organized, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's your narrative control, so you get to come up with the Union boss name."
Oh, names. What?
Busted. Carl.
I'm gonna say this. Union boss name is Kaveen.
Kaveen. Kaveen has gotten up onto a crate and is shouting a goblin rallying cries. Everybody's dropping their weapons and looking back towards their real enemy, the one that hasn't given them enough resources to be successful in evil. And they get blamed for all of the missteps of management, and so they're rallying.
And they get told about meat pies
yeah,
and how delicious they are.
yeah. There's this one Noel. You
Why
gotta
have
try
we never
this.
gotten meat pies?
We need to establish trade with the surface world.
It's
They have
so much
to
better.
offer.
It's so much better than raw meat.
They put it in pastry dough. It's amazing.
They have these things called spices.
All right, so what's next?
Well, I'm gonna take the opportunity to, I think, like, you have to balance nature and society.
Yeah,
And-
there's a lot of imbalance going on here.
So much imbalance. And I'm gonna say, like, the cause of that imbalance is the abuse of power
Mm-hmm.
by upper management.
So you're joining the union, union efforts.
Like, can't stand against the union. Power to the people.
All right, so this
Support
is
the WGA. Donate to the Entertainment Community Fund, people.
charisma against which? Well, I guess against it could go either against Degum or his boss. Probably his boss.
I am going to go for the
Yeah.
boss, but I'm going to say that that this one is a show of force.
Mm-hmm.
that-
Oh, okay.
I can
You
assist
don't-
with my charisma as well.
All right. I see. So you're not using your
charisma? No.
charisma. You're using your force because this is,
Because the only way you can't win over people like that.
all right.
Like, he is the embodiment of everything that we stand against.
Red, the blood of angry men.
It's not persuade the means of production. It is seize the means of production.
Exactly.
Right. Got
Exactly.
it. Okay. Force it is. And then charisma, because you're backup dancing here, or what's going on?
I was gonna do like rallying cries and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that. I might just start singing Les Mis. Who knows?
Yeah.
So what's your charisma die?
What is your charisma die?
D8.
8.
Awesome. And then that's a D6 for that, D6 for my bow. And then at this point, I'm going to say we need to survive.
Okay. Yeah. Survival. Burn that die.
Survival of the most worthy, which would be us. In
This
case
is,
anyone
it's
is
really a
okay.
skill for like discipline for setting traps and stuff, but we'll allow it.
You'll allow it.
It gets you more dice. Use it.
Exactly. And I know a great deal about a region and history and people, and it's like this time that we've spent in the Temple of Elemental Evil. My
But you
knowledge of the
look
Union
at the social
people,
constructs. Yeah, totally.
great. And I think that's
That's a huge pool.
we'll see how it goes for me. Okay. That's a 14.
All right.
It could have been a nat 1.
It has been in the past.
Exactly.
It was quite recently.
Yeah.
I think that's 2 nat ones I've rolled this game.
Yeah, that's hilarious. He also didn't you get a 20? Okay, anyway, we're distracting ourselves. The mob is rushing down the corridor, and they're all going after the levitating boss guy, who is now entirely devoted to dealing with this. And so he's not flippant this time. Now he's sort of and throws down a blanket of darkness. It suddenly goes black. Even those with dark vision can't see anything. And there's the clash and clutter of people stumbling over each other. You're feeling bodies next to you as they're trying to pass through. And that's what he does. Yeah. So sucks.
I think
There's also a zombie still trying to eat your friend.
And a guy who just got
all right.
I think I'm just making random stuff up for my magic item because why not? Because I think that one of the strategies that the dwarves use is having dark sight, so anything that could take that away from them is something that they really want to counteract.
Oh,
so
yeah.
if there's somebody who does cast darkness, I think he has an axe of like true sight, so it gives them a bubble to be able to still see like around themselves.
Yeah. A dwarf can't be blind underground. No way. All right. Okay, cool. So yeah, you can see
But I want to be like an emanation, like from
probably 30 feet or so. So
Yeah.
like if everybody's in your bubble,
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
feel sneeze coming. Maybe it won't.
Now that you've called it out, it's going to be shy.
Everybody's gonna be waiting. All right. What about now? All right, cool. So you have you all can see, and it's sort of these forms and shapes around you as everybody's tumbling into each other, and there's chaos, and it kind of goes quiet after a minute because they're like, okay, well maybe I'll stop running, and we'll.
Since I don't know where the swords and axes
Yeah,
are.
right.
And
Not a good idea.
people are calling out for their buddies.
Marco.
Carl, are you
Marco
there?
the Knoll.
Union leader Kabine is like, hold,
All right, come on, everybody.
hold.
All right, so you're in a bubble. You can react now better, but we still have these threats that are about to escalate.
So I'd like to introduce something to the scene.
Okay.
And then I'd like to take an action based off of that.
Sounds good.
So what I'd like to introduce to the scene is that the Deckham
Degum.
is floating up in the air, and surrounding him are four giant quartz crystals, which are sort of part of this whole shrine setup, like focusing for power. And then what I'm going to do is use Weather's D6 to create and target a lightning bolt. And I'm going to hit him with that lightning bolt, and the shocks are going to cause piezoelectric shocks to keep hitting him as well.
Oh, okay, I see. Now, is this the boss, or Degum is the commander who is kind of giving his shot?
This is the floating guy.
The floating guy. All right.
Yeah, who's distracted right now, who just cast darkness.
We don't know his name because I didn't write it down. We'll
Okay.
call
His
him,
name is the boss.
we'll call him Darius.
DB.
Mhm.
Dumb
Management.
boss.
Yeah. Management.
At that point, I feel like Deckham is the management, and Floaty Dude is like the CEO.
Yeah, he's
Like,
you're right.
billionaires.
Executive.
Exactly.
So I'm going to
What they call it,
use
C-suite.
Deckham and the 1%.
Not even C3. He's board member. But
All
he's,
right, so I'm going to, I got a D6 for the spell, I have a D20 for the thing, and I'm going to use Mage, get a D6 when your knowledge of magic is tested,
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
the
that
idea
counts.
that science is magic
right.
in this. Anything else? Does,
Um,
do you want to point out our geology to me?
Who were you asking?
Oh, my dwarf friend, to see if he...
Well, can I use that as my talent, my dwarf talent? I guess. Would that be?
Well, I mean, you could just help him by telling him about the geology, and you would
Yeah.
give him your will die.
Yeah, I was gonna say will. That's what I was trying to
Yeah.
pin it to.
That means you won't be able to use will against Darius.
That's okay. That's not axe swinging stuff. You know what I mean?
So what's your
You'll
will?
be axing anyway.
My will is a D6.
D6. Great. That is a 20 on the die, so a 24 total.
Woo!
Well, you can take your coin back.
Woo! And then I want to, here's what I want to do, because I want those shocks to be continuing. I'm going to give this right back to you to use my feat,
Okay.
which is soothing, spend inspiration to move a threat down one stage.
Oh, geez.
So what I'm doing is, like, I moved him down for hitting him, and then this continuing effect also brings his level down.
Yeah, he's being electrocuted.
Yeah.
And
He
he's
doesn't like
got to deal with casting his magic while that's happening, because it's not stopping. That's great. Just so you know, this is a 5-stage threat. Now it's down to 2.
Great.
And he didn't really do anything yet. Well, he did darkness. Also, the other threats aren't going to escalate now because you got a 20 plus.
Oh, great.
So you all still kind of have the initiative right now. What are we gonna do about the zombie? I mean, this is the one that's
Oh,
gonna pop
I got
first.
that.
Okay,
I was
cool.
just waiting for an opportunity. Sarah's just gonna like fingertip to the zombie's forehead and just go, "Get back in the ground."
Bad corpse.
Yeah, and that's going to be charisma. I am persuading the zombie back into the ground. I am shaming it. You shouldn't have gotten back up.
Bad move, buddy.
Go to sleep.
And I'm going to grab a talent die because obviously my understanding of the divine helps here.
Yeah.
And
You have 2 inspiration, by the way, if I'm tracking them right.
Oh, I got 2 inspiration?
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
because you rolled a 20 plus at some point.
Okay, nice. Okay. And then again, this has been a long running fight. Can I get that bonus from my background?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Sweet. All right, so that's 2d6 and a d8.
It's like an 8-year-old or a 6-year-old never tire.
Mhm.
8-year-olds tire.
That's a 9.
Oh no.
That's not good enough. Did you know you had to get a 10?
I am aware.
Okay.
If I was in the room, I would be throwing the dice at you.
All right. So the zombie has figured out that your throat is very soft, and is just
Yep.
ripping at it.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
So take a harm.
Blech.
That's
Okay.
all a zombie does. That's the only move I got.
Yeah, I'll take a.
And it's in dark too. I mean, you're kind of
it's like
falling
a
out of the
harm
darkness.
to force.
I mean, he doesn't want to give us a diatribe on anti-unionization.
Not interested. Not interested.
Now,
Sure.
what you see
What are you
is
ta-
trickle down economics. Shut up, zombie.
Zombie's already covered in scabs.
Oh.
That's good. I am going to escalate one of these other threats, though. I'm trying to decide which one. I think Degum needs to have his day.
Every Degum has his day.
You hear Degum chant words which only you understand. He's dispelling your lightning.
Oh, okay.
And that is... I already did a hard move, so it's not a hard move. It's something he's in the act of doing.
Okay.
It's a good thing that I was planning on going after Dickum next.
Yeah, get that guy.
I
Encase him in a tree.
Make him
I'm-
make like a tree.
I love this has become like...
And get out of here.
I'm gonna use the sound of his voice to trade onto him because I'm
Yes.
assuming he's outside of this bubble.
He's in the
of fight that
darkness,
we have.
yeah. They're going to attack the darkness.
Yay! We did it! Stream's
After
over.
this, we
Go
have to go
home.
confront
That's it.
the
We won the
gazebo.
game.
So yeah, I'm gonna do that with my bow, and well, I'm also saying this is for the survival of all of us,
Mm-hmm. Counts, sure. Load up that pool.
and that that this is once again a balance of nature and society.
Arguably. I see where you're going with it because they perverted everything down here, and so you're trying to get it back to force. So you can add that. Also, you have if you want to spend your inspiration, you can to add d6 to your pool.
I feel like I'm okay there. I'm just honestly, my biggest issue has been my D20,
Not the pool.
Yeah.
not the pool.
Yeah.
My pool has been good to me so far, and my D20 has been like,
It's been D&Ding you.
Yeah.
Oh my! I realized something very stupid. When I rolled that nat one, I should have re-rolled it
Oh, because you're a halfling.
Oh.
because I'm a halfling and I'm lucky. The pain.
You weren't lucky that
pain.
time.
But now you're getting zombie kisses, so it all makes it better.
That little one-stage threat is going to kill you.
this. Great. Okay. Oh, fuck yeah! No.
Oh.
Oh, I read that wrong.
Uh-oh. That expression.
It's
Uh-oh.
an 8.
What was it?
I don't know, but a dice went to dice jail just now.
It's an 8.
Went to the holding cell.
Whenever I escalate a threat, I add an arrow. So there's lots of arrows on here. Okay. You were arrowing, I'm assuming, right?
Mhm.
The arrow just goes into the darkness somewhere, and the chanting continues. The lightning just stops. So
Can I
your
action go
attack
along with
is-
my axe?
Hmm?
Can I action try to interrupt it with my axe or no?
No, because this is the outcome of her
Okay.
roll. So you can come in next. The lightning stops, and this hand comes from the darkness into the light and grabs you and brings you into the darkness, and you're getting pummeled out there.
I am taking 1 to my charisma because
Yeah.
bows are my thing.
I can't. You know what? I did 2 hard moves. It was a bit much. I'm just going to say that he's trying to grab you and bring you into the darkness, but the lightning is gone. He dispelled that. I can't have all power. I have to dial it back sometimes.
So this middle manager guy, our middle management scum.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, the middle management guy is trying to grab her and bring her into the darkness. There's also a zombie you hear seems to be very eager, I guess is the word, about what it's discovering.
so we have the CEO, middle management, and zombie, right?
Mm-hmm. And Kaveen is out there too with his people.
But I mean, Kafib's on our side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our.
They're on their side, but tangentially with us.
So we're temporarily aligned.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, just from a dice perspective, I think Sarah is in the most trouble right now.
Yeah. Is there a way to like Irish whip the middle management guy into Sarah so then the zombie starts attacking him?
There's always a way.
Yes. That's what I'm gonna do.
Hook him with your axe and pull him into the
Yeah.
zombie kisses.
Yeah. So can I use protection on that?
That does count as protection, absolutely.
Would it also count as melee?
As what?
Melee?
Yeah, definitely.
Sweet.
And force.
And force. And then I'm a fighter,
Yes, you are.
and I'm also a soldier.
I mean, this is the most strategy you've shown so far.
That's not true. I feel like we started the ruckus with the Maz move. That is a 17.
Nice.
Okay.
That's so many 6s.
I know. The number of the
Oh,
beaks.
you lost Rose.
No.
Okay, so 17.
Yep.
It is going to interrupt this, what was a soft move in play, even though it wasn't quite a threat. So Degum gets pulled. You tell me how it goes. I'm not sure I pulled. He gets pulled and like thrown into the path.
Yeah,
of
like
the
I
zombie.
full on think it's like an Irish whip. Like,
Oh, right, okay.
He uses like the axe to like around his neck as like a hook,
Right,
and then he
And so the Degum goes tumbling on in front of you, Sarah, and the zombie is like, "Ooh, new meat," and is now going to town on that guy. So you are finally free, a little beaten up, but free of the zombie, and the zombie is now. The zombie is no longer a threat. So Degum just like once this happens, Degum just beheads the zombie and is trying to get the body off of him.
Okay. Is the what's the 1% up to? Is the darkness still on?
He's beyond the darkness somewhere.
Okay, darkness is still going on.
Yeah.
What stage are people at?
Well, Degum has 3 stages on him, and Darius has 2.
Okay, Darius, cool.
This is all above board, by the way. Usually this would be on a table, but since we're streaming, have to use
A little difficult.
I mean, you could put it on the table for the benefit of the people in the.
There's just an empty
studio.
space
Well,
right there.
there's
where a
no
table
sort
would
of
be.
middle table.
Bummer.
Where is it?
Okay.
should use hand
Yeah.
signals.
So I think.
If this were an ongoing game, there's a way we can set up like a camera to be on a section of the table.
Right, I've seen that. I know what you're talking about. Right.
But for
Okay.
a one shot, not happening.
I think my options here. I think I'm gonna go after Degum,
Mhm.
and
Yeah, he's right next to you.
yeah. So you're not supposed to confront the same threat with the same approach, correct?
You can. If you've assisted somebody, you can't use that die.
Okay.
But you can still roll even without a die. It's just you're gonna have only your
Okay.
pool.
Okay. So I can't use the same ability die to confront the same threat. Is that right?
If you have, did you assist with your ability die?
I didn't, but I attacked him with force before.
Oh yeah, you can still use force. The only time that
Okay.
happens is if you're assisting, because basically you're handing your die to somebody for the duration of that
Mm.
threat.
Okay. Okay.
So,
Cool.
So yeah, you can use force as much as you want.
Okay. Yeah, so he's trying to push the zombie off of him
Yeah.
and just shovel out of nowhere.
Okay. All right. Cool.
See, it's-
Because of darkness, I'm going to give you an advantage die on that.
Nice.
I was going to say it's a different tactic because this time it's not a shovel to the shin, it's a shovel to the face.
Obviously works better.
Okay, so that's going to be a D6 for
Bigger
force. D6 for I can do this all day. My religion has taught me how to shovel people in the face. Do I get that third D6? Do I?
Because you made me laugh.
Okay, excellent. All right, D20, 3D6. All right, so I was like, oh, well, I can re-roll these ones. It doesn't matter. I already have a 6 on the D6. It comes out to a 20 exactly.
Nice.
So I will get another inspiration.
Yes, you do. And he that's not enough to knock him out of a threat, by the way. But
Mhm.
what does happen? I mean, you smacked him in the face, obviously. And do you want to keep him down?
Just a resonating whong. What I would like to do is basically between the immediate concussion he just got and the zombie on top of him, he's not getting back up before somebody else can go after him.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. He's down.
And gosh, I'm trying to think what I want to do with this inspiration. You know what? I'm gonna spend an inspiration and say that the shovel of Antioch is going. I'm gonna hold it aloft like I'm He-Man,
Uh-huh.
and through the power of the Raven Queen, dispel the darkness.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, you can do inspiration to do that. Well, actually, technically you can't. I'll still allow it, but
Is
I'll
the
give you the
darkness
technical.
a threat?
Yeah, the darkness is part of a threat.
Part of the threat? Okay.
But we can illuminate. I mean,
Okay.
you might not be able to dispel it, but you can illuminate and see better.
Okay. In that case, I will be a shining beacon for my allies so that they can better go after Darius.
Yeah. All right. Right.
So
Cool.
he can't hide in the darkness.
Great. So, well, you heard her. We have more visibility now. You can see Darius on the ground with the zombie. He's been smashed, blood coming all over
Damn.
his face, nose totally smashed.
That's
not-
Degum on the ground, right?
Yeah, that's
It's
Degum.
a 2D Degum.
Yeah, Degum. Darius, I'm sorry, is still in the darkness. You don't know where he is. And since the roll was so well, nothing's escalating. So you have a moment to try to restage yourself. What do you want to do?
I'm going to use my inspiration to say that all of that lightning and everything that was going on with those crystals and dispelling the lightning that was hitting Darius didn't dispel the lightning entirely. It contained the lightning inside the crystals.
Oh, okay, so the crystal was sort of like a capacitor that kept it. Yeah,
A capacitor that glows,
yeah, okay.
thus creating a nice like circle target around Darius.
So you have visibility on Darius. All right, I'll accept it, sure. Yeah, but it's like a misty blackness, but you can see him through the ambient glow.
It's like looking at someone through a smoked glass.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So I'm gonna axe him.
Okay, Darius or
The other guy.
yeah, the other guy. Okay, you're gonna get an
Shipley.
advantage die because
I'm
he's,
gonna demote him to Shipley.
given the circumstances, you get an advantage die. I mean, this guy's it's hard for him to get out of the way or block it.
I think he's. It's gonna be just real simple that Mads is just gonna step on the zombie, so he can't push it up to get off it, and just kind of swing at his head with
Okay.
his just him standing on the zombie.
It's just a 1-2, like us hitting a railroad spike. Just shovel, axe.
Yeah. I'm a soldier. More tag team, I guess.
Yeah.
Fighting and then fighter.
Don't forget the axe bonus.
Oh right,
Oh yeah, I keep
because
forgetting that.
this is definitely cleaving.
Oh man, that's a 22.
I don't think it's starting
Woo!
to turn around. All right, so I given the circumstances, I actually think I'm going to downstage this threat because I don't think he can survive this. I think he gets cleaved, and so we're just going to call it. And you tell me what happens.
Sorry, Sarah, you get covered in Shipley blood.
Mhm.
As the
Not the first time, won't be the last.
there's definitely a pop and a of what happened with the aftermath. And then I think Matt just has a look like, like job well done.
All right, now to the boss.
Yeah.
So the boss is visible, and he is seeing what's happening, and his blasé attitude is starting to turn a little severe, and he's starting to you can see he's calculating, going to make a move, but he isn't yet making a move because he rolled a 20, and I don't get to use any of the powers,
Right.
even though I had a long list of them.
That aren't able to be
I
used.
cannot use them.
Yet.
With him and the crystals in sight, I'm going to use power to at the D8 to animate objects or create constructs and golems.
Okay.
And I'm going to create a golem out of one of those charged crystals.
Oh,
So with a cracking sound, it breaks free of its, of it, and it forms into a rough humanoid shape, and it grabs onto him.
Okay. All right. That's awesome.
Just
That's
makes me
so
think of
cool.
the
Metal.
Dark Souls 1 crystal golems.
Yeah.
Those things are absolutely terrifying. They smash you real good.
Big boss has been downgraded. I haven't even gotten to use them. It's so sad.
Well, you're going to get a chance now. That's just a 10.
Yay! Oh, just a 10. Okay, well, still, I get one chance.
You only
Um,
get one shot.
I have to do something good though. No magic missile for me. Okay. So the crystalline golem
Gollum.
is embraced him, and he's contained, and so he just utters a magical word which you recognize. It's a curse, and so you just like feel the anxiety of uncertainty wash over you, and at this point you are not at all confident in your capabilities. Like you
Okay.
just feel very insecure all of a sudden. And yeah, you'll take harm from no,
Okay.
you don't take harm. No,
No harm.
it's just going
Okay.
it's going to be a disadvantage later.
Okay.
Okay, so Big Bad is struggling. He's being restrained by a crystal golem. The masses are in the back, are trying to gravitate towards the light, so you can see the mob is sort of lining up against him. Kaveen is shouting in Goblin. I don't think anybody could speak Goblin, but it sounds like rallying cries. And they're getting more organized. So that's the situation. They're toppling this thing. Why you should treat your workers better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Fair contracts.
See, if all these bugbears and ogres had just been able to work from home rather than having to come into the office.
Right. It's a charade. The whole thing's a charade.
I mean, like all they're asking for is reasonable rest.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And maybe the artwork upstairs would have been nicer.
Yeah.
I mean, if you pay
They've
people
really
what
gotten
they're
to
worth.
engage with the art.
Right.
You want good art, you got to give people free time.
And maybe they just wanted windows. You know, there's a real thing about light
Right.
coming into the Temple of Elemental Evil.
Right. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe not the bugbears, but like some of them. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice skylight.
Mm-hmm.
How many stages are left on Darius?
He's down to one.
Sweet. Do you want to first? Do you want first swing puja?
Sure, since my die has been so evil to me.
Follows
let's
fails,
see
we
how
can
this.
tag team.
Follows fails, he'll get more moves.
I'm gonna say that this one is a will because like I see what he's done, and also, but I'm taking that like strength from the people, and it's like this will fall. I am going to impose my will on you, which is that you need to go down. Stop speaking your curses.
Yeah.
And so will, and then I'm gonna use my bow. And yeah, this is the ultimate. I feel like this is the ultimate professional balance of nature and society. Especially because, like, our good friend Kaveen from upstairs.
We all rise together.
Oh, yes! 22.
Man, that takes care of Darius for sure. And that's it. So that means you have narrative control. You tell me what happens.
I feel like, and one more.
Oh, right.
Um,
Order.
I mean, you say that except I was at 0, so now
That's true. You've only got 2.
I am using this economy the way it is meant to be used.
That's right.
I shoot an arrow towards Darius, and it hits him in like one of the spaces that like where the crystal golem isn't holding him. But but it's not actually a killing blow. It just is like you see this pool of blood start to spread, and everyone takes up the rallying cry that like he can bleed.
Oh.
And around us surge all of the dissidents, all of the union, and it's this like mass wave of bugbears and gnolls and orcs and goblins all converging on top of Darius, and you can't even like they just come, and then he like gets sunk in the center of it, and you don't see what happens to him, but you hear it.
And that's how we keep our PG-13 rating.
The darkness immediately dissipates, and you can see the crowd, and they're cheering and hailing you as heroes in their language for helping them topple the infrastructure. There is a change in the air, though, which feels a little like it did upstairs. Heavy anxiety descends, and the air gets really humid all of a sudden. And everybody stops. It's quiet. You can hear a pin drop. Mushrooms begin forming all over the corridor. A thick, unsettling mist appears. And the lone shape of a female figure walks through the mist. She is completely consumed with mushrooms and fungus. Almost to the point where you can't make out features except to see that she's a feminine form. And she is standing in the middle of the corridor as the mushrooms are expanding around her, filling up the entire space. Behind her is a little old man with a cane, just smiling. Running a little late, are we? She begins walking towards you.
And there's a sense of dread and foreboding that is hitting all of us?
Yes, definitely.
Is that considered a level of threat?
Yeah, I mean, this is a threat. Are you saying the dread itself?
Well, so what I want to do is one of my abilities for creation is to create thoughts or emotions in others. So I wanted to combat the feeling of dread and hopelessness by summoning tranquility and confidence.
Yeah,
in
that
everyone?
would address this threat. That's one of the effects of this threat being in here.
Okay. So let's
Also, the
do
religious
that.
type. Sarah.
Mhm.
This is Zuktmoy, who is like an archdemon, kind of almost god level creature.
Yep. I'm familiar.
And then one of the things I want to do is I have, as an elf, I cannot be magically controlled, and I want to channel that ability to throw off the malaise that everyone's feeling.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's kind of an area of effect spell.
Yeah, I'm giving everyone a taste of what it's like to be an elf. Is that a D6 on that? Or?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. For advantage. Now, do you want me to roll with disadvantage because of the curse?
Right. You're not confident in your abilities. You've been cursed.
Right.
Arguably, the curse could have lifted, but I think it's one of those lingers until it's not working anymore.
Uh, 10 is my lowest, and then a 6 is 16.
Okay.
Next dice are much nicer.
That's just thinking that.
All right. So that dread is lifted from everyone. And now you know what you've been missing, being not an elf. So this is what he's like all the time.
Matt still doesn't think he's missing anything.
Yeah, no.
Is it just elves don't get anxiety?
That's right.
Like,
But honestly, that's a great fucking superpower.
It's an amazing superpower. Can I have that? Like, forget flight or super strength. I just want that one.
Give me some elf blood.
And your confidence is returned. You're thinking, oh, maybe that curse wasn't. Maybe it subsided.
Great.
So, there's a hissing noise in the cavern. Everybody again is really quiet, and the floor of the corridor, which is that big quarter-mile corridor we've been talking about, just gets covered with lavender and dark purple hues, and it starts going up the walls. And I think both the mage and the cleric and the ranger would recognize that these are purple mushroom hazards. Do not step on that. But she's like cased the entire cavern with this.
you got a little schmutz right there, and I'm gonna cast Cure, or to cure a creature of a magical curse or effect, and basically make the host body not capable of having the mushrooms on it.
Let's see what the dice say about that.
Ooh.
So that's gonna be charisma, and that's gonna be some religion, and I can do this all day. And that's a D8 from the spell, so that's 2D8, 2D6. And get thee behind me, mushroom. That's a 10. I rolled a 2
Wow.
on the die. And then I was lucky enough that a D8 was an 8.
I mean, that's amazing.
The yeah, I think at that point immediately the purple just dwindles and grays. And you now have this woman's attention.
Joy.
Yeah. It's and it's sort of a casual, she's just changed her posture to face you entirely. If you could think about what she's thinking about, it might be, oh, here's the threat. And from behind her, the old man steps forward, plants his staff in the ground, and this bolt of lightning jumps from his staff all the way down the corridor, blasting all of you. And so it doesn't take any harm, but it makes you all drop and take cover. And so you're kind of in a disadvantaged position right now. And he is now kind of just standing in front of this entity. I don't know what to call her, a demon.
Mhm.
And
So
I, mean,
what is,
I just want to remind you, the skull and the gems, it's how you destroy them all, but you can try to take them down the hard way too.
Oh, okay, great. This is because I was actually going to ask
Yeah.
that. I was like, can we run for the place where the gems are?
You can try.
Because
Yeah.
I would
I
love to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the other thing is we have the answer to all of our problems right here, which is organizing. We split up groups to go get the gems.
Interesting.
Oh, so the gems are each on their own plane.
Yeah, they're on. Yeah, and there's 4 different chambers. Actually,
Yeah.
there's 8 chambers that are mirrors of each other, but you know this because it's been mapped out for you.
So yeah, we each take a
Right.
contingent of the unionized members and say, don't let them wrest control back from you. Now that you have seized it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Do the 4 of us scatter into a different domain, or do the 4 of us go in one and send union delegates to the others?
As a preparation for this, what I would like to do is try and use my D8 conjuration to bring the gems back into our plane from the other planes that they're in,
That's fine.
so that when
That's really smart.
so when we go to those rooms, they're there and we can grab them and don't have to fiddle around
Yeah.
with that.
And the threat is Zuckmoy because you have to do this to destroy her effectively. So you can roll just against that threat.
Okay.
And bringing them one place will be much easier, trust me. You only have so much time in this game.
Yeah.
Figuratively, literally.
19 and 6 is 25.
Dang.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. So, I mean, that's you. The gems appear in your hand.
Oh, wow. Okay.
If that's what you want, you have narrative control.
Sarah just turns to McFadden and goes, "You could do this entire time? Why did we even come down here?"
Only when it was funny.
Well, actually, the spell was to bring them into the material plane, but
Yeah.
you tell me how you want it to play out because you have narrative control.
Well, if I can
Okay.
bring them to me, that's great. So if I can bring them, so what happens is you see McFadden's eyes look like they roll back in their head. They go totally white for a moment, and you can see his hands sort of reach out as if he's working a marionettes on there, and as he does, he like pulls towards him, and the 4 gems appear in his hands, and he sinks to his knees because this was a very powerful spell across a great distance on there. And he sort of pants and says, "Looking for these?"
The demon is bristling, and the old man is now scowling.
Okay.
What's next?
Do you want to grab him and stick him in the
Yeah.
skull and destroy it?
Here's the skull. Let's stick him in there and take an axe to it.
All right, try it.
Teamwork.
We can negotiate wages right now for these guys over here before we destroy you.
All right, so yeah, it's your move, and this is probably a will,
Yeah, makes
as
sense.
you're trying to get the gems in before anything can be done about it. You're confronting Zuckboy.
It's a will and a balance.
Yeah.
It's a
Can I
balance.
throw in a charisma as basically rallying us to like stand firm in front of, immense evil?
Okay. Yeah, definitely. So take a D8 from
Great.
Sarah.
And I'm gonna say this is the end of our journey. To take a D6 there. Okay, so that's that.
Can I give you a D6 for Scholar? About knowing a great deal about region, history, and people to explain the
I mean, I
Like-
have that as a professional.
Are you going to backseat Jim place?
Yeah,
No,
That's
I'm
amazing.
tired, but also probably like, oh no.
So,
So
that
that's
would
a
be
D6
So can
for will.
I add
I think it's a decent.
Yeah,
D6
so another
for
D6.
will?
I'm just going to stock this. Do you need more dice?
Yeah.
Nope, I have plenty.
Now, don't run into the Tales from the Loop problem, which is you roll too many dice and they come up bad.
I mean, I'm already coming to
I mean, you're just putting it out there in the universe.
Okay, so then
I know who I am.
I do. So that's my D8, Sarah's D8, the D6 from the journey, D6 from professional, ranger.
I actually designed the game so that you could
Here,
dump a
good.
bunch of polyhedrals. That was the whole point.
Yeah.
Want to be able to do that tactically.
Just reminds me of playing a cleaver in Heart when I finally got into a fight. I was like, okay, we're adventuring. I'm relatively useful. Oh, a fight happens? Bucket of dice.
It's a 19.
19. All right, there we go. I
I
still
feel like
get
it's
to do
rude
something.
of it to come in on the 19, but like,
So you placed the gems, and at that moment, the old man unleashes a fireball. Just like he's like, no,
Can I use
massive fireball.
coins
Yeah.
that turnabout is fair play? That he mad sees that there's a crack in the floor, and he just wants to throw his axe at it so they fall through.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't jump up and down before casting a spell. They don't know if the ground's safe.
This is a soft move, which means fire's coming at you. You
Yeah.
can do something about it. Like if you do this, you're going to get probably hit with a fireball.
Yeah, that's okay.
All right.
Just a little fireball, you know what I mean?
Can I
that's a fireball
shield
to
him?
the face.
You can. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, roll for it.
So am I using melee or can I argue for archery since it's a range?
If it's range, use archery. Yeah.
I'll use the bone dice because it's gonna screw me anyways. So he's a fighter. And then would I use the axe D6? Is that considered cleaving or no?
You're throwing it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
it's not
cleaving
cleaving.
that floor.
It's throwing.
Cleaving the floor.
Okay.
Only in
should
the
get
geological
disadvantage.
sense of cleaving.
The fireball itself is a threat because I presented it that way. So
Mhm.
that's what you'd be rolling against, Sarah.
Okay, cool. Do you want me to roll that now or wait
Yeah.
for him to?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That is
So,
a 20.
Oh.
And then for me, I've got D6 from the spell, D4 from will, D4 or D6 from I can do this all day. Do I get another D6 from religious anti-fireball sentiment?
Fireballs are against my religion.
No, I don't think so. Not in this case. It's,
Okay.
not really.
Isn't it
religious.
religious sentiment to save her friend?
Oh, I'm gonna give you
Well, that's-
my D4 for charisma.
Yes.
I yell, that
Look out.
It won't help. It won't help. I rolled a 5, and the only thing that came up a 1 was at the D4, so no re-rolling any of the D6s to try and get a 10 plus. So I with that shield.
I think I'm gonna make it bad on. So the shield comes up, and the fireball goes through, and it's like melts the shield, and then hits you anyway.
He's thinking like, this is not supposed to work like that.
You blister up immediately. It's horrifying. And
I mean,
it's
his skin
and
care
it's
is-
starting to burn all of the fungus around you, so like a fire is erupted. And how does that make you feel, Sarah?
Pretty angry.
All right, so mark that, and then you'll have to mark harm to force, I think, in this case,
Okay.
which is kind of a delayed reaction. I think I think that's a bit much. Don't mark harm. I'm going.
I think I should mark harm. I
Yeah.
mean, he took a fireball to the
well,
face.
it's harm to intent. It's not harm to body. Like you can have body harm without getting
Mm-hmm.
mechanical harm in the game. And I think I'm going overboard. So yeah, you don't get harmed,
No.
but you are in a big pool of fire, and it's going to suck in a minute.
Mm-hmm.
So
He's
the
thinking
cleaving,
like,
the
why did we
cleaving-
get rid of the water in that one room?
it was so soothing on your bird skin earlier.
Meanwhile, the axe
Put
is
it back.
flying through the air,
Uh-huh.
hits this crack in the ground, and the whole hallway crumbles.
Mm-hmm.
So Zuckmoy and this old guy go tumbling below. Yeah, that's what happens. You don't see what happens after that. They're just below. So what's next? Oh, I guess the Union is probably scrambling to stay above ground too. So it's a little bit chaotic right now. But what do you want to do now?
Well, we
Have we smashed the skull yet?
need to smash the
Yeah,
skull.
smash the skull. All right, this is probably the last chance you'll get.
I'm going to use my very last spell slot here on power to do a transfiguration. I'm sorry, to do power. Temporarily make a creature magically strong or fast. And I'm going to make Mads incredibly strong to be able to smash the skull and the gems all at one time.
I wanted to
Nice.
see Swole Sarah.
So let me see that. Anyone want to help me here? I've got the 2d6.
Can I add my 4 since
Yep.
I'm crushing?
Yes.
And I'm gonna add my will to you.
That's an 8.
I'll add my charisma. Team cheerleader. That's a D8.
So that's 3d8s.
Crush the skull.
Crush that skull.
I'm showing you exactly where this thing needs to be.
All right.
Extreme dungeon
Ooh,
makeover.
okay. Total of a 12. I mean, one of those d8s really paid off on that 4.
All right.
But a 12, so a qualified success.
You're super strong.
Mm-hmm. Super crush.
You crush it. Immediately, the weight of the air lifts.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even hear a screeching or anything. All of the fungus dies, and the mist clears, and it's quiet, except for the rattling sound of a cane as an old man is crawling up out of the abyss. Very
Like you
angry.
gotta throw a rock at the old man.
Kick him in the face.
Stay in the hole.
And he goes,
This is your home now.
He kind of crawls up, and everybody's staring at him, and he says, I would have done it differently, but there's always next time. And he mists out of there. It's completely gone.
Oh man. I really thought he was gonna say I would have gotten away with it.
Oh, missed opportunity.
If it
totally
wasn't
thought
for
it
you,
was too.
I entirely thought it was gonna
and your
go.
knoll.
That would have been so much better. Oh, well.
We're retconning it. That's what happened. We're like,
I would like to spend an inspiration.
All donated it.
yeah.
I'm kicking myself. That would have been beautiful. All right, well, that's what happened. We'll say that's what happened.
All right.
Yay!
So then, yeah, you get celebrated as heroes with all these gnolls and trolls and ogres and bugbears lift you up.
And we're like, no, you're the hero for unionizing.
They're getting together. They're going to figure out how to change this operation. We're going to stop with the elaborate sacrifices. We're just going to rob and steal instead. You know, and they're already working on the structure.
I mean,
Everybody's going to share
Well, they gotta start somewhere. Baby
all of the
steps.
spoils. You know, they're going to go
Works.
into
A community pool.
they're going to go into town and take all the spoils and then share it. Great.
Love it.
But
Love
other
it.
than being like a family of royalty and dwarves, they're also remodelers. So you know, if you guys need anything around here, there we go.
He walks around handing out cards.
We could make a waterfall, not some stupid pool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, you really want to introduce nature to your space.
Uh-huh. You could open up the whole top and have like natural light come in.
I mean, we put a hole in. You could have natural light all the way through the whole thing.
Yeah. A few strategically placed, like, reflective sun holes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Waterfalls get
arboretum.
some you know, underground greenery. Yeah, that'll look nice. It's good. All right, you know you changed some lives today. Congratulations. Cool. Well, I think that's probably where it wraps. We're a little early, not too early. And you did make it to the bottom of elemental evil.
Woo!
You kept Zuckmoy from leaving and causing mayhem
Mm-hmm.
and destruction. And EUs will be back with some more shenanigans, I'm sure.
I just love it. Like, in the ultimate, it's not the other game. Rather than just murder our way down, we created a union of the cultist underlings.
Even evil
love to
unions
see
are
it.
good unions.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Not only a union, but also a thriving dungeon renovation company.
I love it.
We
Oh,
Oh,
added
the name
that.
of the company is Dungeon Masters.
Yeah.
Or Dungeons and Decor.
Oh. Yeah, there you go.
I love it. It is too bad I didn't go to the elemental planes and see the dragons, but there's always next time.
Yep. There is always next time.
All right, cool. Well, I think that's probably where we're wrap.
Great.
Not sure how to wrap. I guess we just, I mean, both ways. I don't know how to wrap up the game, and I also don't know how to wrap.
Do we get character epilogues?
A character, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to know what shenanigans these wonderful characters all get up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Why don't you start?
Oh, heavens.
I really think Dungeons and Decor is the thing.
I love it. I love
Mhm.
it.
I think, yeah, instead of like splitting off to do our own things now that the great evil has been defeated, we just start redecorating dungeons. like eventually we will make it to the Tomb of Horrors, defeat, you know, the great lich down there, but not because we're worried about like the harm they'll do, but because we really need to renovate the space there. Like, it's not about the crimes against the law, like the laws of reality, humanity, you know, and all of the deities. It's about the crimes against, you know, good design.
Yeah.
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 Well,
Well,
I mean,
it's
that
also,
fresco hallway was just too much for you.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
like,
yeah, we
as
had
we
to start
go.
tearing that down immediately.
We walk in, we go, Lich, please. I see a whole change for this.
And then every dungeon we go to, we're also labor organizers.
Mhm, mhm,
It's like
absolutely.
remodel your society
Yes.
and
Mhm.
your space symbiotically.
The space is a reflection of your society.
And we bring employees that provide testimonials to what happens when we go through a dungeon and unionize.
My name is Kaveen, and I was helped.
I was helped by the Dungeons and Decorators, and
Got benefits and more than a living wage.
We were going to desert, but they showed us that they had to desert.
we were going to desert, but they showed us the power of making the management get their just desserts.
You can have your dessert and
Diplomacy
eat it
through
too.
meat pies.
And meat pies.
Yep. Oh yeah, like we have like two main things we do. It's redecorating dungeons and fantasy food trucks.
For the workers.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
well, I think Fantasy Food Trucks is another game by a friend of the studio, so perhaps we'll play that sometime.
That's a great game.
We'll have to come back to these characters in our fantasy games.
Totally. All right, great. Well, thank you for tuning in to D&D without the D&D. We went through the Temple of Elemental Evil. We saw maybe a 16th of it, maybe. So if you want to see the whole thing, I guess, read it.
You could.
Just
I
read
think
it
it's like
in
the
high guy
remastered version is on Steam.
Hmm?
Fewer unions though.
Yeah.
Still really bad frescoes.
All right, great. Well, do you want to sign off?
Cool. You actually have the sign-off sheet there, and so end of session. There's
Thank you,
two. There was a
audience.
beginning and an end.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank our chat mods. Yes, our chat mods that were.
Didn't have any, but
they
that's
weren't?
okay.
Okay.
But we'll
I did
thank them
see
anyways,
Blue
'cause they're
Feather
awesome.
was
Yeah.
here.
I was here. I was keeping an eye on it.
Yeah, me too. But
And thank you to our Patreons. The Patreons keep us ad-free and independent, which is important to us. It's because of you that we're able to play games and enjoy without worrying about publishing companies or system popularity. And you can enjoy, especially but when the system's popular, like, the ones I make. It's cool too.
It's fine.
You can join their heroic ranks at happyjacks.org/Patreon. And I have been Chris.
I have been Eli.
Hi, I am Pooja, and you can find me on the internet as Forgotten Saves. I play on Happy Jacks tomorrow and every Sunday as part of the Pinnacles Wild Talents RPG about superheroes and trauma.
Lots of
Not-
trauma.
Everything's about trauma in the end, isn't it?
I have been Rose. You can find me at roserpgs.card.co, which is card with 2 R's. You can also find me on old episodes of Heaven on High, our City of Mist actual play, where I played Aaron Kent and everyone else played Aaron Kent.
And I'm Nick. You can find me also on Card, sungrawler.card.co, I think is the thing. I've only been on this show in a while, but hopefully I'll see you all again soon.
So,
Can I interject before the speech?
yes.
Celebrations
Must.
to Kimmy on the Emmy nomination.
Oh,
Yeah.
So well deserved.
For
Yeah.
Decima, yeah, if you're registered to vote for the Ennies, and you want to, and we think it's a great system, you should do it. It would be a great little gift for Kimmy.
Yeah, vote. At this point, it's the finals. We don't know the finals, and then everybody votes on the finals, and then they award at Gen Con. So jump in there and place your votes.
And if you want to also get your hands on one of the top-selling games on Drive-Thru RPG,
Right.
you can buy Demigods.
Yeah, Demigods came out with a swing last week. So congratulations, Jason. That's
Demigods by the wonderful Jason Mills.
awesome. Absolutely. The Venerable.
And where can we find Dungeoncaster?
Everywhere books are sold.
Okay.
Actually, Drive-Thru RPG is probably your best bet. But you can also go to Dungeoncaster. No. What is my URL? I've completely forgotten.
www.d.
Dungeoncaster.world. I'm here for the marketing. By the way, you can download the SRD for Dungeoncaster if you just want to use the rules without all the flavor and stuff. And I'm in the middle of a 5e conversion document, which is also going to be free. And actually, I was telling you guys earlier, I think it's a little bit better than Dungeon. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play it 5e out of the box using Dungeoncaster. So look for that. Yeah, that's us. And I think this is going to be weekly. Do we know? Maybe I shouldn't be announcing that. But the one-shot Saturdays.
One-shot Saturdays, I believe, is going to be on a bi-weekly basis.
Okay.
So join us here in 2 weeks for the next session and system,
Or pay attention to happyjacks.com.
which is probably a better
Or
place.
Happy Jacks on the socials. I think it's Happy Jacks. Sorry, we're real good at this.
Happyjacks.org.
.org.
So happyjacks.org is the website, and then I believe you can find us on Happyjacks RPG on
Twitter.
Twitter, Instagram, that kind of situation.
Where it will be announced.
Yeah, and
You
go
can
to
also
Happy
find
Jacks.
us on our wonderful Discord.
Yes, Discord's great. We've been playing Elder Scrolls Online, Rose and I, because of Discord, and you should join us there too, because that's been a ball.
Awesome.
Neat.
Although she makes me stay up too late. So,
Hmm.
so happyjacks.org also has all of the other APs and the schedule. So everything's there. That's it. That's what it says.
That's the show. happyjacks.org/shows to pick up any of our other old episodes and the previous incarnation of One Shot Saturdays, and then you can keep track of the new One Shot Saturdays, where we'll be bringing you brand new adventures in new systems.
Where we all drive our characters like we stole them.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's everything,
That's
then
everything. We're good.
Bye.
good night, everyone.
Bye.